and a bit of razzmatazz. Or in their words, make the game more watchable, accessible and entertaining, especially for younger audiences. But there's been a huge pushback, a massive no way from the current game. So what exactly is R360 and why is it controversial? Rugby union is facing challenges on a domestic level right now. There's huge financial instability across even top-tier clubs. The English game has seen leading clubs like Wasps, London Irish and Worcester go out of business in the top flight. The Welsh provincial game is in total disarray too. R360 says they would remove what are easily some clubs' biggest expenses, i.e. the big stars, and therefore make more of them profitable. So the plan is to inject a new lease of life into the sport. But how exactly? Top stars of the men and women's game playing for a franchise-based league with fixtures in cities like London, Miami, Tokyo and Lisbon. Each city would host a tournament featuring all the franchises during a short 3-month season. And though no players have officially confirmed, reports suggest around 200 have signed pre-contracts, some worth up to 750 grand. And if that's the pre-contract, you can imagine where the full wages will get to. Problem is, the rest of rugby says no. In fact, no way. The national unions from England, Scotland, Ireland, France, Italy, South Africa, New Zealand and Australia have declared any player joining R360 will be banned from test selection. World Rugby's also not approved the league. Many fear it echoes football's failed European Super League, a top-down, money-driven idea that could damage the sport's traditions. So is it dead already? Well, rugby union is at a crossroads. Some may be against it, but we know others are being swayed by the cash. So will everything work itself out? Or after the European Super League and Live Golf, have we got sport's next big scandal on our hands?
Good morning. Bit of my playlist to kick us off there. Oh, Ruth. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark's Real Sale. It's the UK's biggest used car sale. It's now on. Check out arnoldclark.com. And the reason for playing this, and there has to be a reason, is he's back. Coisty's back.
I don't mind that. A bit of peaches and herb.
Peaches and herb.
I mean, it wouldn't be my go-to, but it's 6 o'clock on a Monday morning. I mean,
when we get to 6:15, we've got one of your go-tos. We've got one of your go-tos.
It's got to be either a bit of AC/DC or a bit of Van Halen or Rammstein or something.
It's something very similar to
I
that.
knew it.
Very similar.
How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. First time back since Christmas. It's ridiculous. Because people in the office are saying, "Merry Christmas, Coisty. How was it?" And I'm thinking we're almost in February here, you know?
Well, I'll tell you what it was. It was long. It was long. I had a great break. Can't lie to you, Jeff. Cannot lie. Had a brilliant break. Feet up, just chilled. Had a good time. Spent it with the family. And itching to get back in, and we're back into it. So I had a good weekend. There's some good football at the weekend. I was at Wrexham, which was brilliant Friday night. I mean, what a cup tie. Incredible cup tie. And then I was at Old Trafford last night. Yeah. Dear me. Brighton with us, almost Brighton reserves.
When it was Brighton reserves, that's when Man United had gone out of the cup to Brighton. No, they haven't gone out of the cup to Brighton reserves, you know. And when I saw the Brighton side, and I texted my lad who's a Brighton fan, and said, your manager's got to be on drugs.
I know.
I said, because no goalkeeper, well, there was a goalkeeper, but obviously reserve goalkeeper, both first-choice centre-halves left out, no Matoma was on the bench, no De Kuyper, no Minter, no Baleba. I mean, they were there for the taking, in theory.
In theory.
And yet
Anything but.
They won at the... I'll be honest, I thought they won at a canter, apart from the last few minutes, when there was a bit of nerve set in then.
I couldn't agree more. You know, and if you're not going to get the last couple of minutes, then you'd be totally surprised. No, I thought, if not dominating the game, I thought they were extremely comfortable. Really comfortable. Yeah. 2 good goals, particularly the second one. I mean, Gruda does really well with the first one. Good header. It's a good ball in initially from Welbeck, who, he looks lively. He looks really lively. And then just his movement's good. And then he scores an absolutely terrific second goal, Jeff. Brilliant goal. And United are kind of huffing and puffing. You know, there's no real... I don't know if energy is the right word, but they certainly look lacking. I heard Darren say after the game they look a little bit lacking in confidence. That certainly looks the case, you know. But no, they've got problems, and that's the earliest the season. Oh, sorry, it's the least amount of games they've played in a season now. I think it's in 1915 or something.
And I think financially, and you know, fans don't care, but financially, it's a disaster for United.
Oh yeah,
it's a disaster that they've got so few games to come. But you know, look, and the things we'll talk about, obviously, they're going to replace a stand-in manager with a stand-in manager. I mean, biggest club in the world? Hello.
I'm with you. I heard one of the guys on earlier on just before we come on. I mean, if you're going to change a manager, then change the manager. But for the life of me, I'm not going to. I don't really understand. As much as I like Michael Carrick and all he's been there before, you know, if they're not going to get the job full time, is there any real point in changing Darren Fletcher? Is there?
Well, not in my view.
I don't think so either.
You know, because by the way, what are they hoping to achieve? You know, then with the best will in the world, well, okay, they can qualify the Champions League, we know that. But aside from that, there are no cups to be won anymore. All
they've got for the Champions League, right? And it's massive to play for. So I'm thinking to myself, and here's the flip side of the coin as well. What if Michael Carrick comes in and actually gets them Champions League football after them saying he's a stand-in? Does that give them another headache?
Of course it does. It's just a mess. I mean, it's just a mess. But I'll tell you what, the one thing I would say is Darren Fletcher thinks he had a bad weekend. He should have been at Woking Hartlepool on Saturday, like I was. And while you've been away, we've got a new owner. And this was the first game under him. Now, he wasn't there because he's in the Midwest in the States. And he's coming to his first game next week. And I got a text on the Saturday morning saying, start of a new era, Jeff. How exciting is this? We got stuffed 4-0. Had a player sent off in the first half of the game. We were lucky, as they say, to get 0 because it could have been far more. I went, oh, for goodness sake. Anyway.
The only way is up.
Yeah, well, actually, unfortunately, that's not the case. You know?
Or as Mick would say, it can.
Yeah. Anyway,
but overall, good for the club. That's the most important thing.
Excuse me. I'm hoping so and assuming so.
Yeah.
But it was just a terrible way to start. Not to worry. Let's talk a bit more about United, shall we? Because I mentioned Darren Fletcher. So, his caretaker, it looks like it's over. Caretaker, they call it interim now. We used to call it caretaker, didn't we?
Yeah.
You know, there's been a draw against relegation-threatened Burnley.
Which they should have won, to be fair. Yeah. There were 30 shots and, you know, an own goal. I watched extended highlights of that game.
Should have won, but didn't. And that's the point, you know. And defeat against Brighton. Let's just hear what he made of yesterday's performance.
Good in parts, obviously lots to improve on. I felt like we started well with a good energy. I think their goal really affected us and we've got to learn to deal with that. Disappointment's a part of football and it took us a long time to recover from that. But when we moved the ball quick with tempo, we looked like a good team. We just didn't do that for long enough spells in the game.
Darlow, I know what he means.
Yeah.
I mean, Darlow should have scored in the first 2 minutes, to be honest. And then
But of course, they started well with a good tempo. They're at home in an FA Cup.
Yeah.
Tie. Everybody starts well with a good tempo, don't they?
oh, definitely. No, I know. I just think the problems are deeper. I mean, they brought the young lad on, and he looked lively, and then obviously
He did.
an experience gets sent off. That wasn't Lacey, and I felt for him a little bit, but you can't be reacting like that. And Buemo and Amadiala, they're missing obviously with AFCON. But, Jeff, I think in my notes, I'm almost sure, I've not got it from last night, I think they've had 2 clean sheets this season. You can't, if you're not defending right, you're not going to win games.
No.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're starting the game thinking we're going to have to score at least 2 goals to win it every game, I think they've had 2 clean sheets against the northeast sides, unless I'm mistaken. And they just don't, they give up chances. They don't look 100% solid at the back.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a little bit up front. I think they're better up front. I know Mbuemo was away, and Cunha who didn't play particularly well last night. I think he's better than what they've had. But Manu did okay first half. I thought he did all right, but no, you know what I mean?
I think that's a big issue. That role of shielding that back 4 or back 3, whichever, I think it's a massive issue because I don't think they've got anybody capable of doing it. I certainly don't think Ugarte is capable of doing it.
I don't know what. I'm not sure what he brings to the party, Ugarte. I watch him, and he's tidy, but I think at Manchester United, you need to be more than tidy. I think you've got to bring something. You've got to be exceptional in your position. I just think, full-back areas as well.
Yeah.
I just think there's an enormous amount of work.
You are so right. They're much, going forward, they do have a threat. There's no question they've got a threat. And the ones that you mentioned, and when Amad Diallo comes back as well, there'll be another threat there. Mason Mount looked lost, yesterday.
Yeah, he did. I think he's actually improved.
I do too.
I do. But I definitely take your point. I thought last night was one of his poorer games.
Yeah. Look, it's a mess, and what people from the outside looking in will say is, what is this about this old boys club? Darren Fletcher in charge now, and now we're going to look at Michael Carrick, or maybe we look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What? This is a huge club. Why aren't they looking for the best man for the blooming job
in the world?
Yeah,
in the globe. I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, if Manchester United of old would have been sniffing about whether it's Luis Enrique, Zidane, all these guys.
Yeah.
The guys that are at the Ancelotti, the best in the business. That's where they would, in previous years, they'd have been associated with. Yeah. And I don't know whether it's, the decline in the club over the years that have, I don't know, knocked everybody's certainly everybody's confidence within the club. I mean, and it was strange, and Dan Fletcher, my commentator last night, said something, and I didn't really notice, and it was kind of strange. It was kind of strange, Jeff. Final whistle blew, and kind of that was it.
Silence, wasn't it?
Silence.
Yeah.
There was nothing, and I said it was as if there was a kind of acceptance of where we are now, as much as anything. And the longer it goes on, the longer it will continue. And Jeff, I mean, it's how long is it since they won the league with Sir Alex? They're miles off it.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're absolutely miles off. And I wonder what Ruben Amorim was thinking in Portugal. Eh?
Yeah, I know.
So maybe it wasn't all down to him after all.
That's another one we'll talk about. I can understand the dismissal, and it didn't come as a major surprise to me. However, the timing of that did. Because I actually I genuinely thought I could see a little bit of improvement in his team and in his results. Yeah. So I thought if he was going to get it, he might have got it when Grimsby beat him in the League Cup a while ago and things like that. Yeah. So the timing of that surprised me ever so slightly.
Yeah, the whole thing's a mess, isn't it? Let's be brutally honest. Jill is a big Man United fan, as you know, says, Jeff and Coist, you don't go too hard, please. Already depressed you and all the rest of the Manchester United supporters. Jill and Steve Bridgend said, on the Wrexham game, Jeff, didn't you criticise replays being scrapped last year? Well, Wrexham would have been knocked out if there were still replays, and we would have missed out on some cracking extra times. That's from Steve Bridgend. Steve, how do you know Wrexham would have been knocked out? I would have thought they'd have gone to the City Ground with a replay and every chance of going through. So wrong, Steve-O. Steve-O, what I was talking about was the lesser clubs, and I don't include Wrexham in this, by the way, need the financial incentive of replays. And you might have had some cracking replays as well. Coming up, we turn our attention to the back pages and some bad news for Liverpool and Northern Ireland coming up next. See, I told you there was something
No, you
far
did.
more up your street.
You did. Yep. My apologies. Yep. Bit of Spice Girl will spice up your life.
Of course it is, yeah.
Do you know something? I could not believe it. It was one of their birthdays last week.
It's one of their birthdays this week.
Right.
It's Sporty Spice, Mel C's birthday.
Wait, well, I'm sure one of them was 53 the other day now.
Oh, well, she's only 52, I think.
Oh, man, alive.
He's just what.
Where did that go?
I'm a bit disappointed with DJ Ed. Spice up your life. I mean,
I know.
It's got to be wannabe, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you. He's let himself down this early Monday morning. Yeah. Right. I'm with you. It should have been.
Brilliant. Anyway, look, it is Mel C. Sporty Spice, it's a birthday today, so have a very
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Right on cue.
There he goes. He's back. He's back.
And now you're talking a bit about Katie Shanahan. She's a big Spice Girls fan, and she's bopping all over.
Huge Spice Girl fan. Yeah, I love the Spice Girls.
I knew you would.
I was Sporty Spice at school.
I'll bet you were.
Yeah. I was always there in the tracksuit on the
you?
dance floor. I wanted to be Baby Spice, but they were like, "No, you're Sporty Spice."
I think.
Which one were you, Coisty?
I was. I'd have to say Scary Spice. I would have to say.
Jeff, how about you?
No. I'm not going there. But look,
By the way, Jeff was Old Spice. One for the older boys.
Brilliant, mate.
Ah, dear me.
I love it.
You remember that? I can remember the advert for that.
Spice.
Remember the old Spice? My old man used to fling it on all over the place.
I think Old Spice has come back into vogue.
Oh,
I think
man
it
alive,
has.
Jeff. I used to go up for school in the morning, walk into the bathroom, and the old man had been on the Old Spice.
Yeah.
Dear me.
I tell you what, insect repellent, wasn't it? That's what it was like.
It was, man. That old man never had a cold for about 43 years with that stuff on, man.
Anyway, Spice Girls, we were really good at what they did. Really good at what they did. Right, Katie Shanahan, as you'll gather, has rejoined us with a look at the back pages, Katie.
What have we got, Katie?
Yes.
I can
we
imagine what
have.
you've got.
Yeah, well, we've got lots about Man United across all of the back pages. Some of the headlines, they've gone the Dan's United in the Sun with a picture of Danny Welbeck with that winner for United beating, the winner for Brighton beating United 2-1.
I love that he celebrated.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's a good point.
Oh, you should.
Yes.
And by the way, if you're not going to celebrate after a goal like that, what's a finish?
What a finish. 35 World Cup year, Ali, you know.
He's got to come into the reckoning.
Yeah, he's got
I mean, Ollie Watkins, I've got to come into the reckoning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to obviously clearly take somebody for Harry Kane, I beg your pardon. And I think Thomas Tuchel will be a coach that will be very, very guarded in terms of the amount of game time that he gives somebody like Harry Kane. Because at the last one, Harry didn't look fit towards it, and Ollie Watkins scored that brilliant goal against, I think it was against the Netherlands, I did game. And I just felt Harry didn't look the part. When I say didn't look the part, he didn't look 100% fit.
He didn't right through the tournament, in truth, did he? There was speculation whether he was carrying an injury or not.
Looked it, Jeff.
Yeah, it did.
It
did.
Yes, so a good option for England. He's certainly in great form at the moment. And the Mirror have gone with it won't wash with Daz as Darren Fletcher rips into the stars for being fragile. And then the what's your say on that?
No, I like the head. Have you got
The headline.
What?
You've not got it. It won't wash with Daz.
Daz, yeah, I've got it. Yeah,
I quite liked it.
but that was all that snigger was.
My first Monday back. So
I can tell.
I'm giving the headline guys a bit of credit.
Oh dear! No, I like these headlines. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're very good. And then we've got in the Times this morning, and because it dropped quite late, so it's not on the back pages. But we know that in the Times, Michael Carrick is the favourite for the interim United boss. But I want to talk about the other headlines in the Times with this knee injury ending the season for poor Connor Bradley, and then there's another headline in the back page of The Sun. The hero Isaac faced axe. Macclesfield hero Isaac Buckley-Richards was set to be ditched days before the club's Crystal Palace giant killing, but then he got the goal, didn't he? But let's talk about Connor Bradley first. A huge blow for Liverpool and Northern Ireland as well.
Yeah, and a massive blow for the lad, clearly. Looks like his season's going to be over, Katie, which is a blow. I mean, it's been a very troubled campaign for Liverpool, hasn't it, with one thing and another, and it just seems to be another one. I'm up there tonight for the game, but yeah, it's a most importantly it's a blow for the lad, because obviously with the when he come going to Real Madrid, you thought right away that he's going to come in and make that position his own, but he hasn't really, to be honest with you. They played Soboslai in that right back position. He's been one or two personnel changes. But no, listen, I think he's going to have a great player. I don't think he'll come back from the injury, but it's a blow for him and the team, no doubt.
It's a big blow as well for Northern Ireland, because you watch them play, correct, they look to Conor Bradley all the time.
He's a talisman, isn't he, already?
Class act.
Yeah, he's a talisman already.
Yeah, and I think it, in terms of Northern Ireland, it's a massive blow. But as you say, you knew straight away. You could just see straight away that he'd done something serious, couldn't you?
Of course you do.
And I suppose if you're Gabriel Martinelli seeing this news, it's not a good look. You know, bearing in mind he manhandled him to get him off the pitch. He probably thought it was time wasting.
Oh yeah.
But now you're looking at this.
We all know what's happened, and it looks terrible now because of the severity of the injury. You know, the only reason that Martinelli gets away with that is if he's trying to buy time, right? Which he clearly thought he was. He just thought he was trying to buy time, and I wouldn't say fake an injury, but try to kill a bit of time in the game, and it's completely and utterly backfired against him. Yeah, it's a terrible look.
Yeah, but it was a terrible look. But on the other hand, you know, he was unaware. He was Had he realised the severity of the injury, he would have been like any other pro, you know, and tried to help out. I mean, you know, it was a bad look.
It's a very unfortunate situation.
It was unfortunate all the way around, you know.
Agreed.
And this other headline in the back page of The Sun, Macclesfield hero Isaac Buckley-Richards was set to be ditched days before the club's Crystal Palace giant killing. Yes, non-league Macclesfield knocking out the holders Palace aside 117 places below.
Watched it.
Palace. Yes, it was amazing.
I sat and watched it. It was one of these games you sit down, because the wee man was playing. I thought, you know, I'll sit down and get a quick 15, 20 minutes. I never moved.
Yeah.
I mean, and they were excellent. Yeah, man.
Do you think it was the biggest ever FA Cup upset? That's what
I can't think of any more.
Saying.
Really, I can't think of any more.
Well, factually, it was in terms of the difference of league positions. 117 places between them.
Yeah,
you know, so factually, it certainly was. I love the Macclesfield chairman afterwards, Rob Smethurst, saying that he was one of the first on the pitch invasion. He said, I legged it. He said, I thought this is going to happen, and you know what? I'm going on. It was brilliant.
Brilliant.
And then saying he's off to Ibiza after that. So very, very funny.
Yeah, well deserved. And we're actually doing this, saying to Jeff, Katie, we're doing the draw tonight. And I've normally not got a horse in the race, if you like, but I'm really looking forward now to see who Macclesfield get.
Yes, you know what I mean? Yeah, you kind of want a really big team, don't you?
By the way, you know, it is fantastic. It's a great day. Well, the story of Macclesfield is just amazing, really. You know, that Macclesfield town out of business, reformed as a Phoenix club in 2020. Robbie Savage deeply involved in it, by the way. As well, and look at where they are now. You know, absolutely flying. You know, the money is going to help them immensely in the quest to get back to the Football League, which of course is where they once were.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Somebody told me last night, did Crystal Palace donate their share of the...
Yeah, they did. They decided to do that well in advance of the match, you know.
A nice touch as well.
Which is, it's absolutely brilliant. There's been a bit of controversy over the fact that Exeter City asked Manchester City to do the same thing. And City have not responded, so one assumes that's not going to happen. But look, it was a brilliant gesture from Crystal Palace to give them the gate receipts and to give them a place in the fourth round as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because Palace, whoa. I mean, Oliver Glasner's, he's got to be thinking, what am I doing here, you know? And he was, to say he was harsh afterwards. Well, he wasn't harsh, actually. He was incredibly truthful about their performance afterwards. Said, you're playing a non-league team.
Spot on.
Yeah. So against a non-league team, you shouldn't need tactics. He said, you shouldn't need a manager. And he was spot on, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Macclesfield have actually banked quite a bit of cash for that. They've actually banked £258,000, and then obviously now the fourth round they'll get £127,000. So lots of
and of course
money for them.
They could easily get TV on top of that, which will boost that way above that. So doing brilliantly. Rob Smith, he's at the jackpot. No wonder he wants to tell him all to Ibiza. Katie, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Indeed. 6:30, we'll be looking at Tottenham when we come back.
are some of the best sledges in Ashes history. Let's start in 1933, Douglas Jardine versus Yabba. Jardine, the notorious captain of the Bodyline series. Yabba, some bloke in the stands who became so famous he now has a statue at the SCG. When Jardine was swatting away flies on the boundary one day, Yabba yelled, "Oi, Jardine, leave our flies alone. They're the only friends you've got." Next, Warne versus Strauss in the Edgbaston Cauldron 2005. Strauss shouted, "Come on boys, he's struggling here," when Warne misjudged the delivery by Ashley Giles. Warne then told Strauss, "Say one more thing to me and I'll hit the next ball for 6. Strauss obliged and Warne walloped an enormous 6 over square leg. Night-night, Straussy. Bowler Jimmy Ormond dealt a stinger to Mark Waugh, brother of Steve, in 2001 when the Aussie all-rounder told him he was nowhere near good enough to play for his country. Ormond replied, "At least I'm the best cricketer in my family." Tough. Wicketkeeper Ian Healy issued one of the great lines after Steve Waugh told Ricky Ponting to field right under the nose of Nasser Hussain. Healy remarked, "That could be anywhere within a 3-mile radius." Poor Nas. And then there's Dennis Lilly on Geoffrey Boycott, who he beautifully described as a man who fell in love with himself at a young age and has remained faithful ever since.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ally McCoist is with me, and more than one person has been texting saying what Manchester United need. I'll read Mark's. Is a quality midfielder. If it was me, he said I'd go for the Scottish lad at Napoli, who was voted the best player in Italy last year and scored again last night. I think he scored twice, actually.
He scored twice.
Night, yeah.
He scored twice. I think he got dispossessed for the opening Inter goal. But look, I only saw little bits of it. Takes both his goals really well. His first goal's a kind of near post run, Jeff. He gets across the defender, left foot in. And the second goal, the equaliser about 10 minutes ago, gets come back to him and he volleys it back across the goalkeeper on the left-hand side. 2 great finishes.
Yeah.
And your man gets sent off. Conte gets sent off, didn't he?
Oh.
Complaining about the Inter penalty, which I think he had some justification having a moan about.
Yeah. He's always a case of like the blue touch paper and stand back, isn't he, Antonio Conte? Right. What on earth do Spurs do next, and what do they do with Thomas Frank?
From the home fans, cheers from 9,000 travelling Aston Villa supporters. Villa are into the 4th round of the FA Cup, and it's yet more home disappointment for Thomas Frank and Spurs. Oh, and there's a fracas at the end of the game. Paulinho and Rodgers going head to head. It's getting nasty at the end of this cup tie.
We are in a situation where we are keep improving things. Even if we don't get results, I think it's important to look into the level of performance, especially the second half.
Paulinho has completely lost his head, and I think that just shows you, which we see at Bournemouth, the pressure that is growing here, not just on the manager but on the players.
I always feel that if you employ a manager and if you go for a really difficult time, you still have to give him a chance to see if he can get out of it.
Yes, Spurs crashing out of the FA Cup after yet another home defeat. So it's only the Champions League left away from the Premier League right now. And seriously, your name's got to be Walt Disney if you think the Spurs are going to win the Champions League.
Yeah,
that's just not going to happen.
I wouldn't have thought so. But what they have got, I think they've got a pretty realistic chance of finishing the top 8 if they can beat Dortmund in their next game after West Ham.
Yeah,
they've got. I just looked at. I think there are 3 fixtures. You've probably got them in front of you, Jeff. I think they are West Ham.
Yeah.
Dortmund, and then they're away to Burnley.
Yeah, well, they need them to go well, because after that they've got City, United, Newcastle and Arsenal consecutively.
Exactly.
But look, I mean, Thomas Frank is getting a lot of flack at the moment. Does he take the blame?
Well, he's got to. Not all it.
Him for months and months and months.
He has to shoulder. He has to shoulder responsibility, because effectively, it doesn't matter who you are or what team you're at. The buck will stop with, generally speaking, the buck will stop with the coach and the manager, the head coach and the manager, because that's just the way it has been. That's the way it always will be. But clearly, Jeff, there is something wrong within the club. First thing I would say, and it's not an excuse, but it has to be mentioned. They've had a horrendous time, as a lot of clubs do with injuries. They've missed key players. There's no doubt about it. Madison, Kulusevski, Solanke, all those boys. They have missed them, and that has been a savage blow for them. That said, they are underachieving like you've no idea, Jeff. And there's question marks still out, I think, about, certainly some of their signings. But, Jeff, it has to be more than Thomas Frank. When you think about the coaches they've had, whether it's Mourinho, Pochettino, Nuno, Conte, Postecoglou, they're all got a great level of coaching ability and a great standard of management. They all have. So I was saying, they're all wrong. Thomas Frank's wrong. Keep going to the next one. There has to be a time where you say, wait a minute, it must be something deeper than this. Recruitment, obviously, I think, is massive. It's massive. Daniel Levy's not there anymore, no longer there anymore. So a lot of Spurs fans are pleased about that. They're pleased about the change. I don't think there's any doubt that as a business and as a football club moving forward, I think Daniel Levy did a fantastic job in terms of the stadium and, in terms of the owners of the club and things like that, in a financial position. But regret to suspect the majority of Tottenham fans, although they're interested in it, it's not the key factor for them. The key factor is winning trophies.
Yeah.
And they did that to be. Well, Ange, you can say what you like. I mean, Ange came in, there's a lot of hoo-ha about it, and we were included in it. He comes out and gives the press a line. Fantastic, I win things in my second year. And that was all we were interested in for the remainder of that campaign. They were terrible in the league, but he did what he said. He won them something in his second year. Which for the Spurs fans was absolutely fantastic. Brennan Johnson gets a goal, fortunate goal against United, and they win the Europa League, which was great. But it's deeper than that. I mean, it is absolutely deeper than that. It just seems a camp that all is well not within the camp. Things that normally you look at, and if things are going well, it doesn't, it's not a problem. But because things aren't going well, they manifest, and it's things like players not waving to fans and all that stuff. They are effectively, in the grand scheme of things, silly wee things. You should always recognise the fans. I get that, but if the fans are giving you a rough time, the players don't want to go over and wave. So that's probably an argument for another day. But these kind of things do manifest, and they rear their ugly head when things aren't going well, and things are not going well.
But from the perspective of Spurs fans and Thomas Frank, first of all, I would say, what do Spurs fans expect this season? I mean, if they made... I think Spurs fans are looking at things like top 6. Yeah. And I look at the Tottenham squad, and how many players in that squad would get into other top 6 sides? And I would argue, of the fit ones, very few. Well, maybe. But only maybe.
Yeah.
But not
after that. After that.
So the material he's working with isn't sufficiently good. The bench was abysmal again at the end. So you're absolutely right. To me, it comes down to their transfer policy over a considerable period of time, and not down necessarily to Thomas Frank. And I think when you chased him for so long, give him the opportunity to do the job you brought him in for.
Do you know what I think? Looking at him, You're absolutely right. I mean, how important nowadays? Well, it's always been important, but you just feel nowadays it's never been of greater importance, and that is your transfer activity. I look at Tottenham, and I'm with you, mate. I think Tottenham, the way I would describe it is, I think Tottenham have signed good to very good players, but have not signed great players. And you are spot on with your assessment. You know, you could argue the point. I think Liverpool look as though they've signed better players, whether it's Isak and Ekitike and boys like that, and they haven't really performed to the level as well. So you could make that case. But I think over the years, I think Spurs have signed really good players, but not great players.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that's held them back a little bit. I mean, they're at a stage, or they have been at a stage, Jeff, where I'm not sure Spurs are a club that attract the very best. They attract very good, but I don't think they attract very best. I mean, they had it when you look back at Bale and Modric, you know, and boys like that. That's just a different level of footballer. They're not at that level at the moment.
Yeah. Tottenham fans listening are going all gooey-eyed now at the memories of the likes of Modric and
you don't
Bale.
get any better than those two.
No. Look, there's going to be a protest by the fans, apparently before the game against West Ham. But I would argue, obviously, we talked about the Tottenham transfer policy. Is there any point in spending now? Or will they wait until the summer where better quality players are available, probably at a more realistic price? I mean, what are they going to achieve this season?
I think that's a great question. I really, really do. Because this window coming up, the January window effectively, Jeff, I think you sign players. It's a window, it's clearly important. But it's a window, generally speaking, when I think teams that are struggling try and sign players to stay up, or teams that are going for promotion will sign a couple of players to try and get them over the line, or teams that get a real chance of winning something will try and sign somebody to make the difference. But I take your point. I don't think the very, very best are available in this window. Because if you want the very, very best, generally speaking, their teams will be involved in things. So it's an interesting one. The one thing I think you've got to do that'll be interesting. I really enjoy going to Tottenham, right? I think it's a fantastic stadium. I think it's a good stadium, great stadium to watch football. I honestly think their fans are really knowledgeable. We've been on a few occasions and we sit and have a chat with them before the game, and they're really knowledgeable. And what a lot of them are, they're patient beyond belief, because football fans, generally speaking, are not a patient bunch. I think the Tottenham fans probably. Right now, they're probably at the end of the tether of what's happening. You look at the managers that have been there. But question you ask right now, I think is a valid one. Do you give Thomas Frank the funds now to invest? Or do you say, no, I'm not saying for a minute you're right off the season. You can't, I mean, that's madness to think there's so much to play for. But do you say, just go on with what you've got and then we'll reassess and have a right go in the summer?
So I have to smile. There's so much to play for. Well, such as
top 6 Champions League.
All right.
Top 6 Champions League.
Right. But they're 14th at the moment.
I'm with you. Yeah. But you cannot, but Jeff, it doesn't matter who you are or what you are in sport, you cannot give up the hope. You cannot give up the ghost. You cannot give up the ghost. You're not doing your job. You must. I know what you're saying. It's it's not an impossible position, but it's a very, very difficult position. But the first sign that you give to anybody that you're giving up the ghost, then it's time to go.
Yeah. I tell you what, that game against West Ham is big, isn't it? Because if Tottenham do not turn up for that game against arch rivals, they'll be held to pay.
That is absolutely massive. Massive at the weekend, that game.
Yeah.
For both teams. It's that game, believe it or not, is not about the team that wins. It's about the team that loses.
Yeah. And Nuno's going to get a game where he's not playing against one of his old clubs eventually. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
Manchester United fans, get in touch this morning. You're set to learn who replaces Ruben Amorim until the end of the season today. Should it be just till the end of the season? Is that good enough? 03717223344 is the number to call. We'd like to hear from you, Tottenham fans, as well, about what's going on under Thomas Frank and whether they need to plunge into the January transfer market. Plus, it's been a while since Ali's been on. We'll be taking a look into the Scottish Premiership title race and the impact of a 43-year-old. Goodness
What
me.
a save.
Oh,
what a save it was.
That's our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
Very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Ally McCoist. So, headlines this morning. talkSPORT understands Manchester United are set to make a decision on their new interim manager today. And following the interview process, Michael Carrick is now seen as the new favourite. 3 days after being branded an idiot by Gary Neville for trying to push Conor Bradley off the pitch at the Emirates, Gabriel Martinelli scored a hat-trick as Arsenal beat Portsmouth 4-1 in the FA Cup. Bradley now ruled out, of course, for the rest of the season. And last night, huge upset in the NFL playoffs as the San Francisco 49ers came from behind twice in the knockout rounds to beat the defending champions Philadelphia Eagles. Calling up at talkSPORT was Will Gavin.
As Brock Purdy comes out in the best formation in football, victory formation, he takes one final knee and the clock will wind down, the sidelines will empty, and San Francisco are on to Seattle. The reigning Super Bowl champions have been beaten on home turf, 23-19.
Tight finish, wasn't it? But the Niners putting the Eagles out. Big upset.
Big upset. That was the one that the good thing from my point of view, that now means the Rams play the Bears.
Yeah.
Which is a slightly better option for us. But I watched it. I've got to say, Will's doing exceptionally well, man. His commentary, and they're loving him. They're absolutely loving him.
What do you want?
I want the Rams to get to the final, but I'm not sure we will. The Rams, as I say, we've got the Bears now.
Sort of squeezed through, didn't they, the Rams?
Oh, it was tight. Honestly, it was tight. I mean, I think it was 12 seconds left in the clock. Stafford threw to Colby Parkinson, and it was a brilliant catch, brilliant touchdown. But we got away with one. I sat and watched it. We've wasn't too enamoured that our Saturday night was me sitting watching.
Well, especially when you've been in Wrexham on Friday and then you're in Manchester on Sunday and Liverpool on Monday and London on Tuesday. So I'm not too surprised.
But
it's one of the mysteries of the universe that you're still married.
We went for an early bite. In my defence, we went for an early bite to eat.
Yeah. What was that, after the 5:30 game and before then?
It was. We've started Slow Horses. Are you watching it?
No.
Oh, brilliant. I'm right into it. It's excellent. So we sat down and watched Slow Horses. Then I saw that the Rams had their playoff game, and I turned it over. So yes, we got away with one. We definitely got away with one. But I'm a little bit concerned about the Seahawks. I went over to LA and I saw the game against the Seahawks, which we won, but it was tight. And then the Seahawks beat us. I think that's going to be an NFL playoff. But I'm really enjoying it this year. But Will Gavin's doing exceptionally well, really well.
Brilliant. I've just finished watching a series called Say Nothing, which is fantastic. I mean, it does have certain political leanings, but it's brilliant. And then my missus said to me the other day, she's seen it. She said, "You got to watch Black Doves," and I've watched the first 2 episodes. Oh my goodness,
love it.
That is fantastic, really fantastic. One more game tonight, by the way, the Texans against Steelers. It is live on talkSPORT 2. Now, if you want to join Ali and talkSPORT, we assume he's going at the Super Bowl, then listen up. Our latest competition has landed, and this is your chance to be at what they like to call the greatest show on earth.
I'm telling you right now, if the Rams get there, there's every chance I'm going to do my best to get there, mate. Now, as well as a pair of tickets for you and a mate, we're chucking in return flights to San Francisco, 3 nights accommodation and spending money all covered. Listen up, here's how to enter, guys.
Yeah, for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Test costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Lines close on the 22nd of January at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer the phone. If it rings, 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion, full T's and C's at talksport.com. So, for your chance to win, text the word WIN, W-I-N, to 83338 now. Alan has texted Coisty.
Yep.
He says, "Love to have you back together again, reunited. Do you reckon anyone has thought to ask a certain Scottish knight of the realm whether he fancies taking on a caretaker role for the rest of the season? We all know he'll already have plans to attend every match anyway." And that's from Alan. Is it that daft? Probably.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, it's daft. I mean, it's not going to happen, and and B, North should it. North should it. Obviously there last night. Didn't get a chance to see him last night, but he's well wrapped up. He's sitting with Scholes and Nicky Butt, wasn't he? No, that's not going to happen.
The boys, producer Ollie asked me on Friday if I'll predict 3 shocks for the weekend.
You never.
What a flyer I got off to. Wrexham to beat Nottingham Forest.
Did you go for it?
Yeah, I went for that. And my other 2 were Millwall to win at Burnley, 5-1. And Boreham Wood to beat Burton Albion, 5-0.
1 out of 3 ain't bad. That's what Meatloaf nearly sang.
Yeah, it's not great. Some big scores elsewhere, weren't there? Wolves putting 6 past Shrewsbury, Chelsea scoring 5 at Charlton, Arsenal putting 4 past Portsmouth, and of course Man City beating poor at Exeter and scoring 10. But
balanced out.
Yeah.
Balanced out.
Absolutely balanced.
By the biggest shock, we've just spoke about it, potentially in the FA Cup history.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you've got Wrexham, Macclesfield, Mansfield as well. Great win for them.
Oh, great result for them.
And
4th brilliant result.
Yeah, and Wigan won at Preston, which is another.
That's right, 1-0. But I just thought that the Wrexham game, I mean, Forest were poor. I mean, Sean Dyche had a right goal with a great degree of justification. First half. I mean, the boy Sam Smith, who I thought was excellent throughout the night, the entire period he was on. He was different class. I mean, proper old-fashioned centre forward, running about, holding it up, getting a free kick, giving away a free kick. He could have made it 3-0 right on half-time. He takes a lovely touch. He's through. Goalie comes out, spread himself. But in terms of a game to watch,
it was a great game.
Oh, what a game to watch!
And by the way,
Hudson-Odoi was brilliant when he came on.
Oh, he
brilliant,
was fantastic. Which begs the question, and we'll talk about it later on, is why Forest started such a weakened team. I mean, 8 changes. Okonkwo was great in the penalty shootout as well. But I have to say, I did smile. He did smile when Matt Sells stood up straight to Jay Rodriguez. Think he was either going to Panenka him or put it straight down the middle, and Jay Rod puts it straight in the corner. And that's what happens when you don't dive.
Correct.
You look a bit of a muppet, don't you?
Correct. Because he never moved. He was expecting it, wasn't he?
Yeah, brilliant. What a great night it was. I mean, obviously not if you're a Forest fan. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to United and what on earth is the plan for the rest of the season.
Everyone knows there are 20 managers in the Premier League, yeah? Well, actually, no. Around 3/4 of them are not managers. The terms manager and head coach are often used interchangeably to describe Premier League bosses, but they're actually two different jobs. So let's explain how and why. For years, fans referred to Mikel Arteta as Arsenal's manager, but I'm afraid technically...
I don't think so, no.
From his first day on the job, he was the Gunners' head coach. Let's pick a random moment in time, February 2025. Only 6 Premier League bosses actually held the official title of manager rather than head coach. Man City's Pep Guardiola, David Moyes of Everton, Ipswich boss Kieran McKenna, Southampton's Ivan Juric, Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace and Leicester's Ruud van Nistelrooy were the only actual managers of their respective teams. Everyone else? That's right, head coach, including Ruben Amorim at Man United. He took over from Erik ten Hag, a man who had held the title of manager. Might come as a surprise that Amorim's appointment marked the first time ever that Man United had a head coach instead of a manager. But to understand why they made that decision, you also have to get what the difference is between a head coach and a manager. A manager's got a huge range of responsibilities. They're not just in charge of training and player lineups, they're also heavily involved in player sales and transfers. Critical stuff. But a head coach's role is far more focused on team training and performance on the pitch. So whereas Ten Hag was highly involved with decisions around transfers during his tenure, the intention was that Amorim wouldn't be, at least not on the same level. And as the sporting structure at Man United changed under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, people like Sir Dave Brailsford took charge of transfers instead. How all those roles play out in practice may be slightly different at different clubs though. On the other hand, the contracts of actual managers like Pep or Moyes had no limits on their job role and their involvement with transfers and contracts. But those guys are actually in the minority now, and it's a change that's happened pretty quickly. In 2019, there were only 6 head coaches in the Premier League, but by 2025, there were 14. A clear indication that more and more clubs are moving towards a model where the guy in charge is actually only really in charge on the pitch. And the way things are going, it might not be long before all 20 clubs have got head coaches, and the job position of football manager in the top flight is no more.
Good morning, it's 6 minutes past 7, Monday, January the 12th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Save on your next car in the real sale. It's the UK's biggest used car sale. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with us this morning and on the way for you today. The Macclesfield skipper, the scorer of their first goal against Crystal Palace, Paul Dawson, will join us to reflect on probably the biggest FA Cup shock ever. Mansfield also pulled off a surprise of their own against Sheffield United. We'll be joined by their boss Nigel Clough, and the former Barnsley captain Brian Howard will build up to his former side taking on Liverpool at Anfield live on talkSPORT tonight. No Liverpool fan or Barnsley fan will ever forget his injury time winner, wasn't it?
Remember it?
Absolutely sensational. They'll put Liverpool out of the FA Cup. I don't know, what would that be? Probably nearly 20 years ago now.
That is, mate.
Before all that, though, Brighton piled more misery onto Manchester United, who are having another season to forget.
For the first time in their history, knock Manchester United out of the FA Cup, and that's what happens. A few boos go around Old Trafford, and United now have gone out
The first time of asking in both the League and the FA Cup. This is turning into a disastrous season. What next for Manchester United? They're out of the FA Cup. Brighton are through to the draw tomorrow night. Deservedly so. They've won at Old Trafford in the FA Cup for the first time. It ends Manchester United 1, Brighton 2.
So they are going to play their fewest games in a season in over 100 years. They've got 17 matches left. And that's it. They are done.
Incredible.
And dusted. And here we are just in the middle of January. talkSPORT's Mark Wilson spoke to the current interim manager, Darren Fletcher, who started by giving his opinion on what this squad could achieve this season.
I think, obviously we're the Cups. I still think this squad's good enough to qualify in the Champions League places. There's still a lot of the season left to play in the Premier League, but they have to come together, and the players are going to have to take responsibility. And I know they care, and I know there's a lot of good lads in there, but for the rest of this season, they can't waste this season for me. So short term, they are good enough to qualify in a Champions League place, but they're going to have to come together and do it themselves.
You say about not wasting the season. Do you know what the future is for you, the immediate future, the Manchester derby next week? Will you be in charge?
I don't know. I think my objective was to take these 2 games. I've done that. I've not had the time to think. You know, leading a Manchester United team's a massive responsibility, and all my focus and energy has gone into that. I'll review this game, dissect this game, and then I'm sure people will speak to me in the coming days.
Would you want to take the team till the end of the season?
I genuinely haven't thought about it. I've got a role in the club. I genuinely haven't thought about it. I've not had time, and let's see what happens in the coming days.
Darren Fletcher, after what looks like the last of his games
looks
in charge,
way, doesn't it?
2 games. It does. It looks like, you know, an interim's going to be replaced by an interim. Joining us for more on this now, the Sun's Manchester correspondent, Samuel Luckhurst. Morning, Sam.
Good morning, Sam.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, pleasure, mate. Sam, look, interim to follow interim. This has been seriously injudicious, hasn't it, to sack your manager when you've got no idea what you're going to do next?
It is. They've been caught short by Ruben Amorim's outburst and the fallout that he had with Jason Wilcox, and that's why they're in this process now of looking to hire a former player as caretaker, which is a concept that I think quite a lot of United supporters don't care for. They're not supportive of it. They feel as though the hierarchy are probably the ones to blame. It feels they seem to be pinning it on them, given that there's another protest mooted, I think, on February the 1st around the Fulham game. And just looking at the state of the team yesterday, where you've got Darren Fletcher, who's, you know, very credibly taken on that role and has talked a good game, but it's not his role, obviously, to be overseeing first team matters at Manchester United. He said himself he was surprised to be asked to do that. And really, it's just a very demoralising time for United. You look at the lack of games they've got this season, no European football, no cup ties. And it was a very apathetic atmosphere there yesterday. And I think worst of all, with all due respect to Brighton, it is not a surprise when Brighton win at Old Trafford these days.
I tell you, Sam, it's amazing you used the word. That's exactly what I said to Jeff, particularly when the final whistle blew. You know, the apathy around the stadium was incredible. But you can understand, surely, Sam, as well, with the frustration in terms of, you know, replacing the interim manager with another interim manager. And then what happens if the second interim manager actually does do well and manages to get them that Champions League place that Darren said they're capable of? That just gives them another headache, doesn't it?
Well, this is the staggering thing about it. So Jim Ratcliffe said last year that he wouldn't have tolerated Ed Woodward. He said Richard Arnold was a rugby man. Well, he's doing what those guys did. They're looking to hire a caretaker, and that could, well, technically still be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The music suggests that Michael Carrick has just edged ahead of him. And also this interim experiment of putting a guy in charge for the best part of 5 months. Woodward and Arnold also did that with Ralph Rangnick. And it was a disaster. I mean, Darren Fletcher was asked about it yesterday because he was on Rangnick's coaching staff. That was a really toxic end to the season. You had some bad apples in that squad. It spiralled towards the end of the season. They were assured of not winning a trophy as early as March after they went out of the Champions League. They were in a pretty decent place to still qualify for the top 4 and qualify for the Champions League. Yeah. But you knew they weren't going to do it with that squad. And this squad is a better bunch, just, you know, from our experiences with it. But you only have to look at Manchester United's form to have no real faith in them to finish in the top 4 or top 5.
From a financial perspective, Sam, I mean, 17 games left. this season. It's a bit of a financial disaster, isn't it? You know, not many home games to come, not much TV money coming in. Well, none from European football. All in all, you know, financially pretty calamitous for them.
Yes, and I think it's safe to say that they will now embark on this mid-season trip to Saudi Arabia or somewhere where they'll be paying them a lot of money. I mean, they've got a hell of a lot of time. You just look at the schedule, and it's pretty disheartening as a journalist who covers United as well, just how spaced out the games are. I think with the daft tweak to the FA Cup calendar as well, where after the March internationals, it's the FA Cup quarterfinals, I believe. So United aren't going to be in that. So they're going to go without probably 3 weeks, best part of 4 weeks, without a game in late March, early April. So it's pretty damning stuff. It wasn't a great look that they went on a post-season tour after losing Europa League final and finishing 15th last season. But the reality is they got about £10 million for that trip to Kuala Lumpur and Hong Kong, and they'll get a lot of money when they eventually do head out to the Middle East, most likely. Just
a quick one, Sam. I know I'm going back to it. You mentioned it last night. The atmosphere in the stadium. It was as if I felt it was as if the stuffing had been knocked out. The supporters. I mean, they rallied a little bit when Šeško pulled the goal, when the goal back, obviously. But I mean, it was a kind of strange atmosphere.
I agree. It's felt it for some time, and they've tried to. There've been some initiatives. You see in the Stretford end, a lot of club-approved banners that are unfurled before kick-off. They've got, I think it's pretty much all standing there with the rail seating to try and generate an atmosphere. And I think that from the club's, motto was reclaim the Stretford end. But it is very difficult to really whip up an atmosphere when United are struggling to win games at home, and their home record, which up until about October time was actually pretty good this season, all of a sudden it looks dreadful. And you look at the games where they've dropped points or lost. There was a diabolical defeat to Everton in November. Yeah. But as I said earlier, yesterday, it's not a surprise when Brighton rock up at Old Trafford and do a number on Manchester United. It's almost expected. And Danny Welbeck there again, I think that he's proof of it. I wouldn't necessarily say they made a mistake when they let Welbeck leave all those years ago. But when you look at them spending nearly £200 million on Højlund, Xerxes and Šeško in recent years, Danny Welbeck's a better striker than all those players.
Yeah, for sure. Sam, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks for your time, Sam.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too, mate.
I'm not sure we should be surprised by what's happening at Manchester United, you know, because, look, I mean, I don't know Jim Ratcliffe and I don't know Jason Wilcox, but what I do know is you look at Ineos' other clubs, and Nice are fifth from bottom in France.
They've really struggled. I know they are.
And they own Lausanne in Switzerland as well, and they're fourth from bottom. So their track record is
not good.
Diabolical.
Yeah, it's not good. So I looked at Nice falling off at the weekend there, really struggling.
Coming up, we'll turn our attention to Crystal Palace after that loss to Macclesfield. This is the other side of the coin. Needless to say, Olivia Glasner was fuming.
Embarrassing afternoon for all of us, and no explanation, no excuse for the performance we showed, and pretty clear we have now to make some changes.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling, and the voice is back. Pure gold in the background is that of Ally McCoist.
You obviously know who that is.
Yeah, foreigner.
Brilliant. I went to see him one.
Yeah.
Oh, tremendous. Lead singer, Lou Graham.
No, I don't know.
Lou Graham. I think he's Canadian. There you are. I'm almost convinced he's Canadian. We'll check. Somebody will tell.
I wouldn't say they were one-hit wonders, but they weren't.
Oh, no, wait a minute, Jeff.
They weren't far off.
Jeff, two of the most romantic love songs of all time,
Go
by
on,
the
then.
way.
Go on.
I wanna know what love is.
Yeah, that's a great song.
And I've been waiting
for a girl like you.
Right, so
so that's three.
Okay, Cold as Ice.
Yeah,
that one there.
That's three. Yeah.
I'll kick it.
You would struggle to name any more, honestly.
No, I will. I mean, absolutely.
I'm not saying they weren't a good band, but
I'm having them. I'm having Jukebox Hero. He's been a jukebox hero. No, come on. You've never heard of Jukebox Hero?
No, I haven't. No.
I'll bet the listeners out there are in a state of shock at you not hearing Jukebox Hero. Jukebox Hero's a classic. He had one guitar. Brilliant that is.
I'll take your word for it. You don't need to sing it.
I'm not having that. Yeah. You and I normally, musically, are on roughly the same wavelength.
We are, yeah, but you know. Hey ho. Look, let's get back to the football, shall we?
Let's do it.
I'm going to scramble my way out of trouble. Simon in Bournemouth says, Carrick was an excellent interim at MUFC previously, and the fans loved him. He had a very brief period there. Carrick at the wheel was one of the best chants ever. I think he's the best candidate. If he does well, maybe they'll offer him a job permanently if they've got nobody else lined up. I wouldn't be surprised if they take points off Manchester City and Arsenal too. I was sort of with you, Simon, until you got to that point. Yeah, I'd be really surprised.
I don't see it at all.
No.
I really don't.
Absolutely. Anyway, people will have their own opinions, but I think the thing that has everybody scratching their head is you get rid of Ruben Amorim. It almost seems like in a fit of pique right now, because, you haven't got a plan in place. Just haven't got a plan in place. Now, there could be a bit of a storm brewing at Selhurst after the greatest FA Cup shock in history.
Dawson puts his foot through to get it away. They have done it. They have done it. Macclesfield, who 5 years ago didn't even exist as a football club, have knocked the holders out of the FA Cup. And you can put up any single game in this competition's wonderful 150-year plus history.
9 games without a win. Obviously, they've still got to qualify in the Conference League, and now, most significantly, out of the FA Cup to National League North side. Macclesfield and Oliver Glasner didn't hold back when asked about their defeat on Saturday.
Yes, congratulations to Macclesfield. So, very disappointing afternoon, embarrassing afternoon for all of us, and no explanation, no excuse for the performance we showed. And so, for me, it's pretty clear we have now to make some changes, whatever this is. I have to think now the next 2 days about it, and then we will change a few things, because this is not acceptable for anyone, not for the players, not for myself, not for the staff, not for the club. And let's see what kind of ideas I have.
I think the other question, though, as far as Oliver Glasner is concerned, of course, he rightly hammered his team afterwards. Yeah. Is this going to hasten his exit from the club? Will he be thinking, I mean, if he was in two minds about staying, would he now be thinking, I need to get out of here while my reputation is intact?
I think, and it's just an opinion that I have from the outside, I think he might have been thinking that before Saturday. They have been a brilliant story in the last 18 months. There's nobody enjoyed watching them more than me. Some of the performances, obviously FA Cup, fantastic. Getting into Europe, the whole bit. They've been a great watch. Absolutely great watch. But can a team like that maintain it over a period of 4, 5, 6 years? Probably not. Due to a number of things. They've done remarkably well when you think of the players they've lost. Eze and Elise, to name but two. Big centre-back went to Fulham as well. So I think they've done exceptionally well.
Important for him, though, isn't it, that his stock is not affected after he's been linked with the Manchester United job. And that sort of defeat will not help him one jot.
No, you're right, but I don't think it will damage him just as much as maybe you're saying there, Jeff, because I think FA Cup shocks can happen. That is an absolute disaster for them. But I think the good that he's done at that football club by far and away outweighs that shock at the weekend, I think. Right? That is a savage blow to Crystal Palace. It's a savage blow to Glasner himself. But nobody would tell me, well, the point of fact of the matter is this: would Crystal Palace supporters have taken everything they've had in the last 18 months for that one FA Cup shock? I think they probably would. So, yes, it's damaged him. It's not been good, but not to the extent that he's still going to be in demand.
If you're a Palace fan, are you concerned about the long term?
Yes.
At the moment? Because you saw there the weekend, with all due respect, the squad is not good enough. The squad is not good enough.
But we've said that.
And they're going to lose. You mentioned players that they've lost. Obviously, they're going to lose Mark Gay. He may be now in this transfer window. Yeah. But there'll be others as well. Did you fear for them in the long term?
Yeah, I do. I really do, because I think, as I say, clubs like Palace, if they do well, which they have done, their players, get attraction from other massive clubs. Look at Bayern Munich, for example. We're talking Bayern Munich, Arsenal, clubs that, have got a very realistic chance of winning the Champions League. They're the clubs that are coming and stealing not stealing your players, but taking your players, right? So clearly, it strengthens them, but if you're a Palace fan, it genuinely does weaken you. Mm-hmm. And if you can't replace it with the same quality, which is nigh impossible, if not very, very difficult, then you're going to dip. And that's what's happening with Palace at this moment in time. The thing that disappointed me more about the game, see when you get a game like that, Jeff, and it's a kind of obvious thing to say, see the underdog, see if they can sniff a little bit of casualness, an opposition that aren't 100% focused, an opposition, this is the most important thing, and in an era of tactics and ability, and where effectively, it's a completely different game in terms of the physicality now. You can argue about whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but if the opposition and the underdog can smell any weakness, then it just grows and it grows and it grows. So in games like that, I don't care who you are, but if you're at one of the top sides, the first thing, and it's an obvious thing to say, the first thing you have to have the sleeves rolled up and ready for a fight.
Yeah,
that's the first thing that has to happen. And if you do that and match the opposition, then generally speaking, your better players will come. But if you don't, then the strength and the belief in the underdog will grow and grow and grow. And that wasn't, of course, it was a shock. But when you watch the game, it was warranted.
No, you're absolutely right. Macclesfield grew and grew and grew. And afterwards, Oliver Glasner said, look, he said, it wasn't like we were unlucky. It wasn't like the Macclesfield goalkeeper was man of the match.
That's my point.
And he's spot on there. Do you know how many top 10 hits Foreigner had?
Oh, you've obviously, Ed's done me in here.
No, he hasn't.
Head games and all. You and me, baby. Head games. Right.
How many top 10s?
8.
2. 2 top 10s.
In the UK?
In the UK.
Right, a minute they have in the United States.
I don't care. Who cares what they do?
People in the United States care.
They're not looking at the United States.
Listen, absolutely. There's bands have been great. Well, Oasis initially struggled.
They had 2 UK top 10s, 5 UK top 40s, and that was it. Weeks in the top 10, 8. 8 whole weeks. They're not a monster band.
9 in the US. 9 in the, my sources have just told me 9 in the US. Great band, a lot better than you're giving them credit for.
Yeah, well, lots of bands have success in the US who aren't good enough.
See, when we go to the news,
in the UK.
I'm putting on Jukebox Hero for you.
I need to go to the toilet. Coming up, we turn our attention to Scottish. It's good to have you back. Coming up, we turn our attention to Scottish football as Rangers are on Danny Rowe. Can they catch us? Well, you've called me Old Spice already this morning. Of course, Craig Gordon, what a save at the weekend. We'll touch on that. And Ali's thoughts on the title race coming next.
Holy moly, guacamole. I mean, that's remarkable.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and Arnold Clark's real sale. Huge savings to be had on over 20,000 used cars. Darren has been texting. He says, Happy New Year is over, Minister of Misery is back, and Mr. Giggles is the king of positivity.
Brilliant. Absolutely.
Thank you very much indeed, Darren. And Andy, thanks for your text, and you are right. It is not appropriate for breakfast radio.
But we did enjoy it.
Yeah, we did indeed. But yeah, and you obviously did too. Now it's all happening north of the border, and we have a lot to catch up on, Ali.
Right, YouTube. Here we go. Listen to this.
I am a clear guy. For the moment, I cannot talk. I shut my mouth because result, Wilfried, not good enough.
Wilfried Nancy has just walked down the tunnel on his own. He might not be back down it. Celtic 1, Rangers 3.
He's gone! He is gone! Wilfried Nancy has been fired or he left, I don't care.
If I don't win football matches, I'll be straight under pressure.
Rangers and Celtic have had the monopoly in the Premier League for the last 40 years. You've got to give credit to Hearts here.
Yeah, you do have to give credit to Hearts. Massive credit to Hearts as well. So, since Ali was last on talkSPORT, Rangers have lifted themselves back into Scottish Premiership title contention above Celtic.
Yep.
At the moment, as it stands, a lot of people thought that Derek McGuinness and Hearts were going to drop away, but that's not being the case. And of course, Martin O'Neill back in the Celtic hot seat following Wilfried Nancy's departure.
Yep.
And immediately back on track as well with a thumping win over Dundee United. Coisty, do you think that I'm not sure the bookmakers, I suspect they probably have got Celtic as favourites again, but are they really?
The Martin effect will have a lot to do with that, Jeff, understandably. He comes back in, goes to a 4 straight away. Comfortable victory. Should have ended up the game with 10 men. Poor refereeing. That said, Celtic get back to winning ways and did it in a comfortable fashion. I didn't think there was any real surprise there. The big test will be the next few games. I mean, they played well against Rangers for 45 minutes and they were well beaten. And it was no surprise that Nancy lost his job. None at all. It was clearly, I probably felt he had to go. Losing 6 out of 8, and the whole place looked in the confidence completely out of place. There was nearly, a revolt, civil war going on, the way things were going with the fans and the board and all that kind of stuff, which I don't think's completely been sorted out yet. But Martin coming in for the second time will certainly calm things down, because he's a calming influence. I did say, and I'll say it again, safe pair of hands. He's much better than that. Absolutely much better than that. But the first thing he's a safe pair of hands and it cools everything down again. So they've got a bit of stability. As I said, they got off to a good start the weekend. Hearts again, though. Tremendous result. Down to 10 men. Arguably one of the players of the season. Claudia Braga scores again. Lovely goal. Yeah. Big 3 points for them. They don't look as though they're going to go away anytime soon. They lost the game. They lost the game at Easter Road and were well beaten. They came into the game late on, but Hibs deserved to beat them. But they have beaten. I think I'm right in saying they've beaten Rangers and Celtic home and away twice, which is fantastic. That tells you where you are. Rangers have been absolutely tremendous result-wise under Danny Rowe. Tremendous. Since he's taken over the last 7 games or something like that, obviously beating Celtic. They lost at Hearts, but there were some brilliant results away at Kilmarnock, beating Motherwell, Hibs and teams like that. So they've got themselves right back in it. Absolutely right back in it. And for the first time in a long time, it's really, really interesting.
Yeah. And I look at Hearts and I think their advantage, apart from the fact it's 6 points at the moment over Celtic, 3 over Rangers, but Rangers have played a game more, is that Hearts have got home advantage in their remaining game against Celtic at the moment, with the regular season.
Absolutely.
And of course, Celtic and Rangers have got to play each other as well, so they're going to take points off each other.
100%. I actually think the way, I've already gone, I've said it. I mean, Hearts' problem, inverted commas, if you want to call it a problem, I don't think they'll be handling the Rangers Celtic games, because they've handled them absolutely fine.
Yes.
With some justification. They're a little bit, I'll say, I don't mind saying it again, they're a little bit fortunate at Ibrox with a couple of decisions that went for them, a couple of shocking decisions that went for them. But yeah, a lot of times, Hearts have been an absolute breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Breath of fresh air. And they're there in merit. And I think they'll stay the distance. Absolutely. I'm not sure they'll win it, but I think they'll be there or thereabouts, which is great.
It's going to be interesting because obviously with Tony Bloom's backing now as well, it's going to be see whether they can dip into the transfer market now.
Well, here's my point. Here's what I think about the league so far, right? For the first time in a long time, you look at Scottish League, St Mirren, who are struggling at the moment, but they're more than capable of beating MD on their day. Hearts, Hibs, more than capable of beating MD. Motherwell, certainly. Motherwell might be playing the best football in the league, incidentally. Yeah. Motherwell, the lads come in, the Danish boys come in and been excellent.
And they're not so far off it.
No, they're not. They're not. They've been absolutely terrific, playing some great football. They're capable of beating MD. And the most important thing is, Rangers and Celtic, for the first time in a long time, are more than capable of being beaten by MD.
Yeah.
You know, I know Rangers have been on a good run, but recent history would tell you in the league, since the league started, they're more than capable of getting beaten by MD. So that's one of the big differences, I think. Plus the fact, I mean, I look at the league now, and Hearts, there's a belief about Hearts that I don't think has been there in previous years with any other club in terms of the long-term challenge. But I think Derek will keep everybody's feet on the ground, and so he should, and he'll continue to do that. But he will be installing in his players a belief. Why would you not believe when you've beaten the big two home and away?
Yeah. And we haven't mentioned Craig Gordon, 43 years of age.
What a save.
Save of the season against Dundee.
Oh, he'll be up there.
I mean, it looks like it's past him, doesn't it?
Well, you could get carried away, and I'm getting carried away, but it's a kind of similar to one to Banks' header from Jorginho. You know, I mean, which is one of the greatest saves we've seen of all time. It's similar, opposite side. He goes down and plucks out with his left hand. It's an absolutely tremendous save, and they were down to 10 men.
Yeah, no, it was a brilliant save. Will he go to the World Cup? 43?
I think he might, you know. Why not?
Wow.
It'd be incredible.
It would be. The other question about him, of course, is what hair product does he use? Because his hair's still jet black almost.
I think there's a bit of working on there.
Yeah,
it's definitely a bit of work.
It's not the one that you use, is it?
No, it's definitely one.
Hey, by the way, Graham, thank you for your text. I mean, seriously, mate. Only a music lightweight measures a rock band's success in top 10 hits.
Brilliant. He's back.
Hang on.
He's back.
It's album sales that count. For example, Led Zeppelin. Graham, do not tell me that you are comparing Foreigner with Zeppelin. Do not tell me, because that is championship against Premier League winners that you are comparing.
Well, I don't disagree with you there. However, he's well entitled with his top 10 hits comparison.
Yes.
That's where Graham's right.
Well, he might be right there, but seriously, you cannot put
80 million albums
in the same league as
Foreigner
Led
have
Zeppelin.
sold over 80 million
Led
albums.
Zeppelin, the great,
I'm not putting them.
Greatest rock band.
I am
of all
not
time.
putting them in the same league at all.
Yes, but
I am
Graham
not.
is.
Well, he is, and he's quite entitled to, because you asked the question, how many top 10 hits have they had? And Graham has come bouncing back and said, Jeff, how many top 10 hits have Zeppelin had?
It's 7:44, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
Yeah, Macclesfield fans, you're in the FA Cup fourth round draw tonight after this legendary moment.
Might break Fensham's way. Left-footed effort. Oh, it's deflected in. Buckley Ricketts has made it two.
Wow.
Captain Paul Dawson, the scorer of Mac's first goal, will join us live on the show at just after 8. Plus, we'll catch up with the Mansfield town boss, Nigel Clough, after his side dumped out Sheffield United in a fantastic game at Bramall Lane. And that was a look ahead, all thanks to the brilliant Travis Perkins.
Music in my head, crazy music playing in the morning.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
followed by a lack of quality. How many sales did Foreigner have? Album sales, you were saying?
80 million.
80. 80?
Not bad.
Not bad, no. How many did Zeppelin have?
Oh, I would, well over 200.
300 million worldwide.
I mean,
and that's what I meant about top of the Premier League against champions.
But,
mate, as simple as that.
But you'd have to say 80 million ain't too shabby. That's my point. Yes, I take it. Where did Pink Floyd come into the equation?
Oh, my God, I've no idea. No idea.
I don't mind a bit of Floyd.
No, you like a bit of AC/DC. So does Darren, by the way. It says Minister and Giggles' best band music catalogue is AC/DC. I think sold around 200 million. I think
Absolutely.
they had... Back is Black? Is that the
Back is
biggest selling album ever? Something like
correct.
that, isn't it? From
Black
a
and
band,
White,
anyway. I might be completely wrong with that, but anyway.
1980, I think it came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
But no question, Zeppelin absolutely peak in terms of rock bands.
Don't I disagree.
Right. God, we've agreed
Let's
on
do
something.
football. Let's do
7:51. We've agreed on something. Right, back onto a weekend that showed the magic of the FA Cup is still alive. It kicked off with Wrexham dumping out Premier League Nottingham Forest. Not surprisingly, Sean Dyche wasn't quite feeling the romance of it all.
No lift in it because that was a different side. You know, I was just expecting them to push the side that have been playing. So no need to lift it. We just had a brilliant result. And, you know, I've got my own memories of the FA Cup. It's not that it hasn't got the same depth to a club like ours as the Premier League. But we can't accept players if they're not going to play hard for this club. And not for me, but for themselves, first of all, and for the badge. And the first half like that is just absolutely unacceptable. And then after that, you saw the players and why, like I said, why they play every week. And that's why, because they come on and affect the game like they did.
And when he went on to say, he said, look, they all knock on my door and say, why am I not playing? Well, the evidence, quite honestly, is there for some, if not all. And I do take that point, but, you know, I'm a big Sean Dyche fan, but did he make a mistake in making 8 changes?
Well, yes, because they've been knocked out of the cup. But that's what managers do with big squads. You know, you can argue that teams like Palace, Forest, teams like that, clearly and understandably don't have anything like the squads the Arsenals and the Cities have. So, I think clearly when they play a weakened side, when I say weakened, you know, if it was a crunch game, it wouldn't be their normal starting 11. Then it gives the opposition a far better chance. But whereas Arsenal and City and teams like that can, if they can't replace like for like, there's certainly not a major drop in standards in their changes. Whereas when you look at the performances of certainly Palace and Forest at the weekend, you would say that there is a dramatic drop in their standard.
Yeah.
So he finished up by saying, excuse me, he finished up by saying, I don't expect too many of them been champing my door this week.
Yeah.
And he's right. He's absolutely right. He's Dyche, and particularly seen it from both sides. When he played with Chesterfield and they got to the semi-final and incidentally knocked out Forest and Wrexham en route to that semi-final, which sometimes football brings up strange wee quirks, and that was one. So he knows, Dyche knows better than anybody that if you're not on it as a top team, you're on the risk of losing, and they were miles off at first half.
Yeah, in the long term, they look back and maybe think it isn't necessarily hurt now, but it isn't necessarily a bad thing when they're battling for survival in the Premier League. I'm going to ask.
They got this semi they got to last year, right? And they had a fabulous season last year, absolutely fantastic from start to finish. Obviously, just fell off a little bit towards the end, didn't get the Champions League place. But right now, the most important thing for Nottingham Forest fans is they're playing top flight football next year.
And that is the most important thing. So this might sound a daft question. A big win at West Ham for Forest. Of course, it was big win.
Without doubt.
At West Ham. They've had Nuno this season. They've had Ange. He got 6 weeks in charge. Is there, bearing in mind the owner, is there any threat to Sean Dyche?
No. I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so. For a number of reasons. The most important reason is I think they'll be absolutely fine. I think, bizarrely and strangely, and you make the point, it's clearly not a good thing getting knocked out the cup by Wrexham. it's clearly not a good thing, but it does concentrate their focus on the 2 other tournaments that they can have a serious effect on. I genuinely still believe they could win that European trophy. I do. I think they've got a team. Their starting 11, 12, 13 is more than capable of beating MD on their day.
I completely agree.
On their day, more than capable of beating MD. They didn't do that on Friday. They got what they deserved on Friday. But the bigger fight is staying in the division, and I think they'll do that.
Yeah.
But then, I think the point you make is a good one, because I think the owner, as fantastic as he's been for Forest, and he has 100% got Forest's best interests at heart, he's more than capable of making a decision that he thinks is right, but nobody else agrees with.
Yeah. Arsenal at home and Brentford away in the league in the next two. We know what they're doing at Brentford, just achieving miracles at the moment.
He's doing really well, isn't he? And Keith Andrews, fantastic.
A lot of us, me included, need to eat our words, and I'll be very happy to do so.
Fantastic.
As far as Wrexham are concerned, look, it's not fairy tale. I mean, it really isn't a fairy tale because of the amount of funding they've had from Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds. And I don't say that with any bitterness at all, because they've done a brilliant job. They've put the money in. They've done everything they said they would do at that club. And I'll tell you what, it is great to see. I mean, I knew Rob McElhenney would be invested in it because he's heavily into football. I don't think Ryan particularly was, when
he's in it now, I can tell you.
But, oh, boy.
I
see him in the stands now. Talk about invested in it. He really is.
Jeff, he was literally no more than 10 yards away from me on the left-hand side. And he was as passionate and as animated as any owner or any fan, more importantly, as you saw at that game on Friday. And I'll tell you something else, which I thought was brilliant. I was watching him beforehand. He went about there and he had time for everybody. It was great to see. Time for everybody. Pictures, autographs, the whole bit, and the crowd have taken to him, and so they should. And he certainly has a wonderful relationship with his supporters in the club. But I tell you right now, boy, is he invested in it.
Yeah.
Physically and mentally, and the whole package. Yeah. He was changing jerseys, which I think was for a little bit of luck as well. Things like that. He was just right into it. It was great to see. But the one thing you got to remember as well, it is a great story, right? And yes, they've had money to spend. Right? They were always, Jeff, going to find their level for that period. They've had it now because I think I go back to September. Might be in September at one point. I think they were 21st in the league, mate. Right? And then they went on a run. I think they certainly won the last 4 league games, I think, and they're now maybe a couple of points off the top 6. But I think I've certainly said to you in the past, I think that's where they are at this moment in time. Excuse me. What they don't want to do is clearly go down the division. I think they'll see themselves. Their ideal plan would be stabilise there for a couple of seasons, and then maybe try and have a kick. I'm not sure right now going up is a good thing for them.
No, I mean, my old mate Bryn Law texted me last week and said, he said, I can't believe what's happened to us. He said, here I am trying to persuade Wrexham fans that it's too soon for us to be promoted to the Premier League.
I get that. I totally get it. Yeah. In fact, I agree with him.
Yeah.
Because I think, and I'll tell you why, Jeff, because I think the changes that would be required if they do go up would be too great for them at this moment in time.
Yeah.
I think it has to be a gradual process.
Because the rise has just been astronomical.
And let's not forget, all of a sudden, whether we like it or not, they're a target now.
Oh.
Right? Because of the story, there's clubs and fans at other clubs. Jealous isn't the right word. Maybe slightly envious would be the word. And they're like that. Right, okay. They've come in, Hollywood this, Hollywood that. They've had a few quid. Let's see what they're about. And they become certainly a greater target than they were.
Yeah. Which is something they've overcome because they were a target in the National League and League Two.
Yep.
They've been a target right throughout. Right. And there is some envy, but those who are envious, let's just remind them, Wrexham spent 15 years in the National League.
Absolutely.
15 long years. Coming up, we'll take time to talk to a man. Hit the headlines at the weekend, big time in his sort of Terry Butcher style bandage. Paul Dawson, who spent his weekend knocking a Premier League club out of the FA Cup. The Macclesfield captain joins us next.
What's your club or country's sliding doors moment? Its meaning originating from the 1998 rom-com of the same name, a sliding doors moment in football terms is simply a question of what might have been. An incident in a game where, had it gone the other way, would have altered history. For example, say John Terry had scored that penalty in Moscow in 2008. Chelsea would have been European champions and Avram Grant would have the biggest medal in continental club football to his name. It stands to reason then that he would have stayed at Stamford Bridge for a bit longer, meaning that Luis Felipe Scolari wouldn't have got a look in. Would he have done better than the World Cup winning Brazilian, who only lasted till February the following year? And could he have improved upon Chelsea's third place finish? And as for United, who won the title that season, would defeats in that Moscow final have led to Cristiano Ronaldo leaving the club for Real Madrid a year earlier? And would that have meant that Rafa Benitez's Liverpool won the Premier League instead of them? That's a pretty big butterfly effect, all from one missed penalty kick going the other way. And if you want to dig a bit deeper, there's plenty more that could have been affected. What if Anthony Knockaert had scored his penalty against Watford? We'd have been denied the Troy Deeney moment, sure, but might Leicester have gone on to win promotion to the Premier League earlier than scheduled? And would that have meant that Claudio Ranieri would never make it to the King Power? Would Arsenal or Tottenham, therefore, have been champions in 2016? The most significant sliding doors moment perhaps ever, though, was Paul Gascoigne, Wembley, June 1996. What if this had gone in? That golden goal would have sent England to the Euro 96 final against Czech Republic. 30 years of hurt could well have come to an end. There's so many of these moments that could have altered destiny forever. What if Shearer had signed for United? Would Lampard's ghost goal against Germany have kick-started England's World Cup back in 2010? What if Sam Allardyce didn't get bogged down in all that controversy and denied Gareth Southgate the England job? Does make you think.
Morning, 8:05 on Monday, January the 12th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and Arnold Clark. Save on your next car in the Real Save. It's the UK's biggest used car sale on the way this morning. We'll be reflecting on the amazing events of the weekend in the FA Cup. 8:30, we'll speak to the Mansfield boss, Nigel Clough, who dumped his former side, Sheffield United, out in what was a fantastic game. Some fantastic individual performances from Mansfield there, as well as a man etched into FA Cup history, the former Barnsley captain, Brian Howard. Can Barnsley do what they did at Anfield back in 2008 again tonight and dump Liverpool out of the FA Cup? Plus, stay tuned for the very latest on who on earth is going to be coming in at Manchester United. What on earth is going on at the club? It's interim after interim. Now, though, we're staying with the FA Cup. Macclesfield pulling off, well, the biggest shock in its 155-year history.
Crystal Palace win the FA Cup.
This is the biggest achievement what we could give to our supporters.
And so begins the case for the defence. Drawn against the lowest ranked team left in the tournament.
For Macclesfield to be playing the holders, really excited about what's in prospect.
The main thing for me today is got the lads go and enjoy. You know, they've done ever so well to get this far.
This will be a game that will be talked about forevermore. He's fired in, Richard's got his head to it. Oh, Dawson! It is 1-0 Macclesfield.
What a moment, love it. I didn't know how to celebrate, I'm not going to lie to you. It's for the club, it's for the community, it's for everyone, that is.
Oh, he's deflected in! Buckley Ricketts has made it too!
Wow! Yeah, these are the moments you play football for.
Listen, that's the FA Cup for you, and stuff like this can happen.
There's also the added poignancy. Less than a month since lost one of the Macclesfield players in that horrendous accident, Ethan McLeod, always remembered, and that just adds a bit more to this today.
It must be one of the biggest, if not the biggest shock of all time.
Macclesfield, who 5 years ago didn't even exist as a football club, have knocked the holders out.
We're going to Ibiza.
Yeah, that's the promise of the owner. End of the season, he says he's going to take the boys off to Ibiza as a reward for bidding aside 117 places and 5 divisions above them in the pyramid. National League North side Macclesfield are the toast of all the lower league sides at the weekend, pulling off an absolutely amazing result. Now, I'm delighted to say a man who was absolutely central to that. Their captain, Paul Dawson, scored their opening goal. Led by example, joins us now. Morning, Paul.
Oh, morning. Congratulations, mate.
Morning. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, look, how's the head, first of all? I mean that in more than one respect, actually.
Yeah.
It was a bit tender yesterday, I'm not going to lie, for both reasons. But yeah, no, it's all right. I've got a little lump, but other than that, no, I'm ready to go again tomorrow night.
Well, we said that you're straight into it again, as you obviously said there, Paul. Tell me, we're talking about it, Jeff, obviously, we're coming on at 6 o'clock. I'd love to get into your dressing room before the game, mate, right? Now, what are your initial thoughts as a team? Is it one of, we don't want to let ourselves down? Is it one of, we can actually do this? You know, where did John have you guys before the game? Because I said, when the lower ranked team goes to play opposition of a league above them, or a few leagues above them, they can smell if the other team aren't 100% focused. Where were you before the game, and could you smell that?
Not gonna lie, we didn't actually make that big of a deal out of it. We just kind of took it as another game. All the boys were confident. We went in definitely thinking we could win the game. And then before the game, obviously the 2 captains, so me and Mark Gay and, well, Franny Jeffers did it. Normally it's a gaffer with me, and their assistant did it. And Franny turned around to Mark and he goes, pitch all right for you? He said, no, not a bit of me, this. And from that moment on, I thought, you know what, there's something here for us. So yeah, it was, I went back in, told the lads, and yeah, we was up for it.
Yeah. And you could see your belief growing as the game went on, and obviously particularly after you'd scored. I mean, what was that feeling like?
I can't actually remember, I'm not going to lie. It was like, it happened that quick. It was all such a blur. Like, I've watched it back 112 times, but Yeah, I don't know how. I didn't know what to celebrate. I didn't know how to celebrate. I just ran to the corner.
Do you know what's magic? I will look back at FA Cup shocks, Paul, right? And I can remember, obviously, Sutton Coventry, the Colchester Leeds.
Yeah.
One of my favourites of all time, mate, was Big Ronnie Radford, Hereford beating Newcastle. Yeah. And the one thing I always remember about the games, I can remember the goals and things like that, but I can always remember the atmosphere and the fans, right? And it looked the same at the weekend, mate. I've got to say, the fans were going rightfully mental.
Yeah. To be fair, they're like that every week. We get I think our average attendance is 3,100 this year anyway.
Yeah.
So we get them every week, and honestly, without sounding cliche, they're literally our 12th man. And when they do get behind us and sing our names and get us going, it's on another level.
Yeah, I mean, inevitably, the aim is going to be to get the club, back in the Football League as it was in its previous life. But what about the manager? I mean, obviously, John Rooney, his brother gets all the headlines. If you're a lower league football supporter like I am, you've seen John playing for years down in the lower leagues as well. What was his sort of reaction to it all?
Well, I didn't see anything. I had about 30 interviews to do after the game, so I was stuck on the pitch for probably about 45 minutes after the game. So by the time I got in, they took all the videos, they sung all the songs, and so it was just straight into the bar for me.
What was are you back at work today? What's the reception going to be at work?
Yeah, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go and do half a day today. The lads, obviously, they support Mark. They buy tables in the VIP area every week at Max. So yeah, the two owners at my work will be buzzing.
Yeah, and it was an emotional occasion as well, wasn't it? Because you boys all remember Ethan McLeod, who died in a car accident, and on his way back and his mum and dad were there, weren't they, as well? So, I mean, just such a special day all round.
Yeah, Ethan was a really nice guy. He was really a big part of the change room, and we couldn't have done anything more for him yesterday. So I'm hoping he'll be looking down proud. Obviously, his mum and dad will be so proud of us. They'll be proud of his boy. And yeah, it was a really emotional occasion, but occasion we'll cherish forever.
Absolutely, Paul. You did. I'm proud, mate. I absolutely did that. Now, I've got two questions for you. My first question is this. The draw's tonight. I'm up at Liverpool for the draw. Who do you fancy in the draw? Secondly, more importantly, have you got any room in that plane for Jeff and I for Ibiza?
I've got one seat on my right-hand side, one seat on my left. You can come with me.
That'll do it, pal. That'll do it. Lovely. And what about tonight?
Tonight, we beat the holders, so we can beat anyone now.
Great, mate.
No, probably Liverpool away. I think probably Liverpool away. We've got a lot of Scousers in the team, so they'd love that as well, I think.
Yeah. Hey, straight back to work. It's working tomorrow. The FA Trophy. Yeah. Hey, I was, and I don't want to worry at all, Paul.
But he's going in.
I was there on Saturday. On the right-hand side, their right winger is a kid called Joshua Thude. He is like lightning, mate. Absolutely tortured us from start to finish.
So get your bed early tonight.
Right. So, well, I'll be playing 5 on the other side then. I'll be keeping away from him.
Brilliant, Paul. Look, enjoy it, mate. I mean,
absolutely.
The nation enjoyed it, apart from Palace, obviously. So the nation enjoyed it, and hope you get a great draw tonight. Blame him if you don't.
Well done, mate.
Thank you very much.
Well done, mate.
Thank you. Yes.
By the way, Simon in Bournemouth just said, on the back of the Macclesfield upset, can we have a shout out for the Palace supporters applauding Macclesfield after the game, please? And
that's what it's all about.
Classy touch, and of course, Palace gave their gate receipts to Macclesfield as well. Yeah. So all in all, Palace emerged with a great deal of credit, not for what they did on the pitch,
but it's important,
but around the game.
Very important.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and you can see why he's captain, can't you? By the way, Paul Dawson as well.
Absolutely,
brilliant.
Very well.
Yeah. Tough game for them tomorrow, by the way, as well, especially when you've been on such a high, to then you have to play in what's an important tournament as well, the FA Trophy, play at Wembley if you win that. So, Right, you can hear who Macclesfield do get in the fourth round of the FA Cup. If you're not watching Ali, you can tune in to Drive with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent. The draw is getting underway. Well, when Coisty gets there, about 6:35, we think. Coming up, we turn our attention to who could win this tournament and whether there could be another surprise winner like Palace. That's next. talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. We're playing I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles because West Ham finally got a win. 2-1 victory in extra time against Queen's Park Rangers of the Championship in the FA Cup. Well, a win's a win, Coisty.
Yes.
I mean, they've got to somehow use it as a springboard. I think the big positive for them, because we know they're short all over the pitch, but Taddy Castellanos, the boy they brought in from Lazio, got himself a goal in just his second appearance, which is a massive boost for them.
Oh, mate, they had to win that game last night. Had to win it, simple. And they need to... What are the next two games? Tottenham, is it Sunderland after that?
They've got Spurs, well, I tell you, the next 3 weeks, Spurs away, Sunderland at home, Chelsea away, Burnley away, Manchester United at home. So it's sort of 3 weeks, which I think will inevitably define whether they're in the Premier League next season or not. They have to pick up, I don't know how many points from those games, 7, something like that.
I think one of the problems they've got, Jeff, right, if we're taking it, you know, that the two below them are really toiling, right? The problem we're going to have is, A, they need to go on a run and pick up points. But on top of that, I don't see any of the teams above them having an absolute dramatic decline. I think the teams above them will continue. They may not obviously go on great runs, winning 4 out of 6 or 4 out of 7, but I still see the teams above them picking up points, mate.
I mean, the only obvious target really is Forest. And when I look at Forest, you think, well, they've underachieved. And they will, or they should get better.
Yeah. And they will. I mean, I think they will. I think Forest are kind of... Yeah, I would use the word underachieving at this moment in time. You know, you look at Burnley and Wolves, right? If we're in agreement that they look as though they're away, you know, I was saying Burnley are away, they're only a point below West Ham.
Yeah. And in an FA Cup game, admittedly an FA Cup game, but they've scored 5 against a Millwall side who are notoriously hard to score against.
Strange as it may seem, I look at Burnley, and I won't thank me for saying it, I think they'll go down. But they're in games.
Always.
They're always in games, Jeff, giving themselves the opportunity to pick up points. And I'm not sure West Ham are. You know, they're certainly over reliant on Bowen, who's an absolutely tremendous player. And then the discussion, what happens to them if they go down? Probably a discussion for another day. But Callum Wilson, you know, I like to see Callum Wilson and Bowen on the pitch at the same time, to be honest with you. I think they're going to have to find a way to score goals to win games to give them any chance of getting out of this.
It's not going to be with Callum, though, is it? Who seems like he's on his way out of the club.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
But that's why I mentioned Castellanos, because he wasn't prolific in Italy. 2 goals for Lazio this season. But he's hit the ground running at least for West Ham.
You're right, because Bowen needs help.
Yeah, massive. And they brought the other boy in, Pablo.
Yeah.
But look, it's a starting point, you'd say, for Nuno. At least it's a starting point.
But you mentioned Forest being realistically the only chance of the team that... I think you're right. Leeds United, what a transformation they are. I know they're still there, but they just look like a team that fancy it against anybody. Anybody.
But they're 8 points clear of West Ham, aren't they? It's a big gap.
Bournemouth as well.
Yeah, I don't see Bournemouth being down. Not for a minute, not for a minute. All right, let's get the latest odds with Coral and Dave Stevens.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Steve-O, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve-O.
Gentlemen, a very, very good morning. I thought we had Arsenal on the ropes for 5 minutes. Dino messaged me saying, what a start. And by the time I'd replied to Dino, we were 2-1 down. So thanks, Dino. I'm blaming you. But listen, it's interesting listening to all the talk post-Macclesfield. Now, obviously, in terms of league positions, it was the biggest shock ever.
Yeah.
But actually, from a betting point of view, Portsmouth were a bigger price yesterday, for example. They were 12-1. Macclesfield were 10-1 to win that game. Barnsley are 12-1 to win at Anfield tonight. So, I always think betting is a very good guide to sort of, how big a shock something is. And whilst it was an incredible result and it was emotional and it was wonderful, it was the magic of the cup on a weekend actually where there wasn't an awful lot of those shocks. It wasn't the biggest shock ever. And as I say, Barnsley winning at Anfield tonight would be a bigger shock. But
I think that's down to, Steve, what we've been talking about this morning. I think you're right. The size of the club, the size of the squads within the club, clubs like Liverpool, I would suggest Liverpool, Arsenal, and indeed Manchester City, it is a bigger shock because you look at they can make changes, and teams like perhaps Forest and Palace can't.
Yeah, and Palace had injury problems going into that. They weren't in the greatest of form. So, as I say, look, it was a brilliant weekend for Macclesfield. The draw tonight's going to be brilliant. We heard him there saying, look, they'd love to get Liverpool away. That would be something special. The other big score, I suppose, was Manchester City 10-1. Now, Manchester City were 100-1 to win 10-1, and then the lineups were announced, and they were 80-1. But the interesting thing would have been, Ali, is what price if you'd have come to us and said, can I back Man City to score 10
goals?
Haaland, who's starting, won't be one of the 10 scorers. We'd have probably said, you better go to have a lay down in a dark room. But that was actually, that in itself was extraordinary that Erling Haaland couldn't get on the score sheet. But as a few people back Man City, there were 3 bets we took at 10-1 pre-match. So,
seriously?
So 3 bets. 2 at 100-1, 1 at 80-1. So, look, it was harsh on Exeter that, but tougher tests ahead. What does it mean overall? Arsenal, Man City, 4-1 joint favourites to win this FA Cup. Liverpool 6-1, and for all again, Palace, the holders or the winners last year. Shocks in this tournament, as in teams that go on to win it, are actually fairly few and far between as well. So, I don't know, anyone you sort of fancy a Brighton maybe, or a Brentford to have a run?
I watched Brighton last night. It looked all right. Incidentally, getting back to that City game, the boy George Birch's goal might have been the goal of the game for Exeter. It was a brilliant finish.
Yes.
I saw enough of Brighton last night with all their changes, Steve-O. I thought they were really, really comfortable last night. And again, on their day, a little bit like Palace perhaps last season, on their day can beat. We saw them pick up a good point and a deserved point up at City and probably should have won it late on. So,
16-1, Brentford going along nicely.
Yeah.
20-1. Look, the draw will be important. What teams like Brighton and Brentford will be hoping for is for a Man City and a Chelsea to draw each other, or a Liverpool and Arsenal, isn't it?
From a non-bookmaker's perspective, Steve-O, if you're having a bet on the FA Cup today before the draw, you are bonkers. You have to wait until after the draw. Simple as that.
And I think most people will. Look, in terms of tonight, as I say, Liverpool, long odds on. A correct score. I mean, they're not blowing teams away at the moment. Liverpool, are they? 1-0 Liverpool is 9-1, 2-0 is 13-2. Maybe something like that. But, as I say, a few shocks, a few and far between. But, Ali, I've got to go back to the Scottish title race.
Come on, I was about to ask you, mate.
I can't remember. You tell me the last time we had 3 runners for the Scottish title as we head, mid-January.
I'll tell you right now, you probably go back to Fergie at Aberdeen.
When Fergie was at Aberdeen. But there we go. We're talking 80s, aren't we?
Yeah.
This is the bit that isn't so good for you, Ali. Celtic are favourites, 6-5. Hearts are 2-1. But Rangers, currently second, 5-2. So it is, I say, again, from a bookmaker's perspective, it's fantastic.
Steve, when was the last time we had 3 teams odds against?
Odds against, yeah. I mean, I couldn't tell you that.
It's remarkable, absolutely remarkable. And we were speaking about it this morning. Hearts a tremendous result yesterday up in Dundee, down to 10 men, hanging on to 1-0. Craig Gordon had a great save against a Dundee side, by the way, that big Stephen Presley, I think, is doing a fantastic job with. Won the Dundee derby, so that was a tough one for them. Rangers, I only saw the highlights. Comfortable victory up at Aberdeen. Had a goal disallowed for absolutely nothing, a ridiculous decision. But they look as though their form under Danny Rowe, the boys have been nothing short of fantastic, and definitely Celtic will get a response, as we saw at the weekend from Martin.
Steve-O, thank you very much indeed. I'll tell you what, Steve-O, just a final thought, Barnsley might be a bigger price to win at Liverpool this evening than Macclesfield were to beat Crystal Palace. But in terms of the romance of the Cup, the win for Macclesfield, that was the biggest upset. Come what may happens at Anfield tonight. Brilliant, Steve-O, thank you very much.
Take care, Steve-O.
Cheers, gents.
And that was a look at the latest odds with Coral 18 plus gambleaware.org. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to another big shot in the FA Cup. Mansfield beating Sheffield United, and their boss Nigel Clough will join us next.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
good morning, 8:35. Monday, January the 12th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Save on your next car in the real sale. It's the UK's biggest used car sale. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Now, Macclesfield was sensational. So too was Wrexham. But there was another shock in the FA Cup at the weekend. Mansfield stunning Championship Sheffield United in a thrilling 7-goal FA Cup third round tie. And they're managed, of course, by the former Sheffield United boss, Nigel Clough. Nigel joins us now. Morning, Nigel.
Nigel, good morning. Congratulations.
Good morning, Jeff. Thank you. Good morning, Ali. Okay?
Yeah, we're great. What were you thinking when they got back to 4-3 from 4-1?
We're in trouble. When Patrick Bamford had come on and one or two others, he made a huge difference once he came on the pitch. Real quality player and finisher. And as soon as he came on, it changed the game. Second and third goals we gave away were disappointing from our point of view. But when you have somebody like him around, he's going to create chances and cause problems for you.
Well, you mentioned the second and third goals, Nigel. I watched them. There was a lot of hesitancy, particularly with the second goal, and the third goal, the own goal, man. You must have had your head in your hands at that one. Flip side of the coin, I mean, you scored some terrific goals yourself, and particularly the first two strikes.
Yeah, the quality of the goals was unusual for us actually, because normally we need a lot more shots on target to get a goal or two. But very ex-Sheffield United player, Lewis Reed, I think we gave him his debut when he was 16 or 17 many years ago. For him to pop up, he's not usually a goal scorer, by any stretch of the imagination, but two very good controlled strikes from the edge of the box.
Yeah. You know we're going to talk about next. I'll tell you, when Hartlepool won the playoff final in 2022, Nigel, you texted me and said, sorry, mate, said we're signing your best player, and his name is Rhys Oates, and oh my goodness, he tore them to shreds, Nigel.
He was brilliant. It's funny, I said to my wife, I was coming on to talk to you this morning, she said, what about? I said, it'll be Rhys Oates.
But he was, now that he's fit, he's a weapon, isn't he?
Unbelievable. And they were talking about, Alan, was talking about before the game. He said, as we were kicking off, he said, I've watched a few of your games. He said, he's a threat, isn't he? And he is a real handful when he's like this. And he can score goals, he can make goals, but more than anything, he just causes mayhem with defences, you know, and he does occupy two or three centre-halves all by himself. And he's in probably the best form of his life at the moment. Sorry, no disrespect to anything he did at Hartlepool.
Oh, no, mate. He was exceptional, absolutely exceptional at the weekend.
Nigel, what about the game beforehand? I'm looking at it, and from your boys' point of view, obviously you fancy it, you get into it with extreme confidence. I mean, you scored 4 goals. A side at Sheffield United whose form has definitely, taken a turn for the better. Just how confident were you? What was your preparation going into the game?
Disrupted with the weather. We got we went indoor cricket last Wednesday because we couldn't train with the snow, and we had a good game of that. We haven't got many good cricketers, let's put it that way. Thursday we got just over a quarter of a pitch and had a little session. Friday we were off, and Saturday we came in and the training ground was under 6-8 inches of snow. So we had a little game of head tennis on the snow, and that was it. And ready for Sheffield United.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Look, I mean, obviously, I know the focus on the FA Cup this weekend, you'd be looking forward to the draw, but in terms of the league, you're not so far off the playoffs. You've got a couple of games in hand, and you've been in brilliant form recently, haven't you? I mean, I think in all comps it's 4 wins on the bounce. You've beaten some good sides, Bradford and Bolton and the likes as well, so you've still got to have your eyes on those playoffs.
Oh, definitely. But we're more than aware that 12 months ago, about this time, we went on a run where we could not win a game to save our lives. And we had a couple of months where everything went against us. The nice thing is I think we've got a better squad now. They're coming back from injury, which has made the difference in the last few games as well. So we're very happy. We've got 2 or 3 in the transfer window at the moment who have had an impact already. So, yeah, very pleased with the squad. We just want to keep them fit. It's going to be a lot of games in the next sort of 3 or 4 months. What we got 23 league games, 1 cup game. So it's going to be a pretty tight schedule with the international break as well.
Yeah. So that, you get Port Vale and Stephen who's come out as well. You mentioned that run you went on towards the end of last season, Nigel. How difficult is it to get out that run when things start going up, disappearing from you, things that you've been doing all season really, really well? How difficult is it to get out a run like that?
Oh, it's desperate, absolutely desperate. Honestly, we went up to Blackpool and played unbelievably well. We were 3-1 up, got paid back to 3-3. You get ahead in games and then you end up drawing them or losing them in last minutes and things like that. It is, and it's just time getting through it, and you're just looking for a break somewhere, just to stop the defeats. It's the draws are okay. It's the defeats that really drain confidence from everybody, and it is so fragile these days. You see it through all of football, all throughout the leagues. When a team goes on a winning run, they think they're going to win every week. All of a sudden, you lose one or two, and it's a different story.
Here's one for you, Nigel. We hit with, I don't know if you heard, with Paul Dawson on. Obviously, had a fantastic weekend himself at Macclesfield. And we're talking about the draw tonight, which obviously yourselves and everybody's looking forward to. And he said the lads would probably want Liverpool away, right? And I get that. But you see, from your point of view as Mansfield manager, what's your ideal draw? Is it a home draw against somebody that you would fancy your chances against, or is it a Man City or a Liverpool away?
No, I would rather a home draw against somebody we can beat. Yeah. We've had I felt for extra on Saturday. We've had that going to Man City and got done 9 and they got done 10. It can happen. The gulf is so big these days that can easily happen. So very, very pleased if we get a nice little quiet one at home that we can win. That would be very nice, and just try and get through another round. Yeah. All good for finances and everything, and good for supporters. We took nearly 5,000 yesterday.
I was just going to say, it was like a home game yesterday. I think you had more fans there than they did.
Great crowd.
Yeah, no, but they were, Sheffield United, to be fair, the prices were good. They did it for a tenner, which was great after Christmas. We've got to do more of that in football for supporters. And we took nearly 5,000 and they had a great day out. It's great memories for them, honestly. Mansfield have been in the Conference, National League or whatever, and League Two for most of the last 10 or 15 years. Sheffield United have had the experience. Chris has given what he's given them in the Premier League and everything. So it means an awful lot to our supporters.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I'm glad they had a great day, and you too, mate. Just tell your wife, it's not always research. Oh, well, it is always research, isn't it?
He's got it written down. It's the first question you were getting, Nigel. He's got it written down in front of him, mate.
I'm going to get his name tattooed on my arm.
I thought it would be the second or third, but you got in early with it.
Yes. Brilliant, Nigel. Always good to talk to you, mate.
Thank you, tonight, the draw.
Cheers, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All the best.
Nigel. Brilliant. What a guy! I love talking to him. He's always no, but he is. I mean, he's just such a natural.
He gets it. He gets it. He gets it. You know what I mean? It's simple. Yeah. It's pretty straightforward. He gets it. It's as simple as
absolutely.
That was a great result for the weekend, and the quality of it. I mean, typical management that. Right, the first thing he says, the 2 goals he lost. Do you know what I mean? They scored 4 belters.
Yeah.
They scored 4 belters. Yeah. And you talk about the 2 goals you lost.
Well, I love the line when I said 4-3, what you're thinking, we're in trouble. Well, it's brilliant. 8:43, let's look ahead to the next hour of the show with Benchmarks.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarks.
We'll be joined by the man who sent the Soccer Saturday studio crazy back in 2008. Well, everyone apart from Tomo.
Brian Howard's got himself in a good position. He's shot! He's scored! Oh! And that's justice, by the way, because he should have had a penalty just now, Jeff. The referee bowled it in front of the cop, but he's got possession again, 25 yards out. Great left foot. I told you he had a great left foot before the show. And he struck it with his left foot. Chelsea Tanti's been beaten at his near post. What a finish to this game. Unbelievable.
No satisfaction at all in Matt Letizier's voice there. And he delivered that report while looking directly into the face of Phil Thompson. Brian Howard scoring the winner for Barnsley in the FA Cup at Anfield 18 years ago. He'll join us ahead of the rematch live on talkSPORT tonight. And that was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins Hire.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast, Monday, January the 12th. It's very nearly 8:49. Some of the headlines you're waking up to this morning. Macclesfield captain Paul Dawson has told talkSPORT Breakfast that there's space on the plane for me and Ali to join him on the way to Ibiza.
How think you and I were going to Ibiza?
Crystal Palace.
I think we'd destroy the place, you and I.
Yeah, I've been many years ago. You know it. I mean, I know, look, Ibiza's a big party town. Shall I tell you something? Might surprise you. I am not party animal. And I know that might come as a shock.
I'm going to tell you something. I went to Ibiza for 3 weeks with the boys, right, years ago. And I actually had to get a flight back after 2 weeks.
No!
I swear to God, lightweight. I was completely done in.
And what I would tell you, Ibiza town is beautiful.
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
Sadly, it was San Antonio I went. And it was carnage.
Yeah. It reminds me, sorry, I should say, it reminds me very briefly of one day when Jason Puncheon was at Southampton and I met Jason at Gatwick Airport, and Jason had a bit of a bad boy reputation in those days, and he'd had all sorts of suspensions and things like that. And I got chatting to him and he said, look, I know I'm a professional footballer, now I am going to knuckle down and really prove my worth. That's great. I said, where are you off to, Jess? He said, I'm off to Marbella with the boys. I think he meant after that trip.
He meant after. Yeah. Post Marbella, Jess was different class. He knuckled down.
Michael Carrick has emerged as favourite to be appointed Man United caretaker, head coach, manager, whatever you want to call it. More on that in a moment. And don't forget, talkSPORT is your home of the NFL, and there was a huge shock last night as last year's champions were knocked out.
Purdy hands the ball off. It's a little trickeration as it goes to Jawan Jennings. He's going to throw downfield. Christian McCaffrey, end zone. Touchdown Niners! Touchdown Niners! What an unbelievable play!
Yeah, the 49ers upsetting the Eagles last night. talkSPORT there for you.
By the way, I've got to say, had you worked out that the Niners are Will's team?
No, I hadn't. Couldn't get any sort of clue at all.
Well, there you are. Just thought I'd let the listeners know.
Your team, the Rams, they script past the Panthers and they'll take on the Bears in the next round. One more playoff game tonight in talkSPORT 2 as the Texans take on the Steelers. Now, if you want to join Ali and talkSPORT out of the Super Bowl, listen up. Our latest competition has landed. This is your chance to be at what they call the greatest show.
They certainly do, Jeff. And as well as a pair of tickets for you and a mate, we're chucking in return flights to San Francisco, 3 nights accommodation, and indeed spending money to go along with it. It's all covered. Now listen up. Here's how you can enter.
Yeah, for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or you can call 0343 418 7260. Lines closed on the 22nd of January at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, text the word WIN, W-I-N, to 83338 and do it now. Right, 12 days into the January window, it's time for this.
Rookies Roundup, right here every day. Rookies Roundup, which players are on their way. If an agent's got a story.
Hello, Alex Crook. What you got for me?
Crookie gets it first.
Yeehaw, cowboy! There's a snake in my boot.
Let's bring in talkSPORT's chief football correspondent, Alex Crook. Morning, Crookie.
Crookie, how are you, mate?
Morning, boys. Yeah, very well.
So, Crookie, what's the latest on the interim to replace the interim? Man, I mean, you must be in the frame. You've beaten the Man United game, so you're probably a contender.
Well, I get the club, Jeff, and that seems to be first and foremost the priority. It's madness, really, isn't it, when you're talking about a club of the size and stature of Manchester United, seemingly fired Ruben Amorim with no real plan of what they would do in the immediate aftermath. The fact they're talking about a second interim manager, a third manager of the season, it is a little bit bonkers, but it does seem like the direction of travel now is Michael Carrick. Halfway through last week, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer certainly felt he was the favourite to make a sensational return to the dugout. But as we broke on talkSPORT last night, Carrick, I think now is seen as the front runner. There should be a final decision made today that the players, I believe, have got a day off. They're back at training tomorrow to start preparation for that Manchester derby live on talkSPORT. And you would have thought that Ineos would want the new man in place by then. I think Carrick makes more sense than Solskjaer to me because, yes, Solskjaer gave an immediate uplift when he came in as caretaker manager, but he did benefit from a favourable run of fixtures in that time. Obviously, once he got the job permanently, it very quickly unravelled, and I was at Watford for talkSPORT when it really turned quite sour after a 4-1 defeat there in his final game in charge. He was booed by the away supporters, so I think there has been a little bit of revisionism in terms of people clamouring for Ollie to return. You look at Michael Carrick, he only had 3 games in interim charge, but he won 2 of them. He got United into the knockout stages of the Champions League. He beat Arsenal at home. Then he went to Middlesbrough, Jeff. They were 21st in the table when he took over, ended up finishing 4th and making the playoffs in his first season. Yes, the league positions dipped a bit after that, 8th and 10th in his last 2 seasons, but he would argue, I think, that he was working with one hand tied behind his back in terms of big name players being sold from under him. So I do think Michael Carrick is a safe pair of hands and the sensible option if you're going down the club legend route. But he's going to need some help. You saw it yesterday. That wasn't a fluke that Brighton knocked United out of the FA Cup. It was more comfortable than the 2-1 scoreline suggested in the end. There were some players there like Ugarte and Dorgu who absolutely stunk the place out. And I think he needs numbers in this transfer window, whether Ineos will back him. I think actually bringing in an interim gives them a convenient excuse not to spend money in this window. And it's going to be very difficult to achieve the objective of qualifying for Europe with this squad. But I've got to salute Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada. Manchester United out of both cup competitions. The earliest that's happened since the 81-82 seasons. They're only going to play 40 games in all competitions. That'll be the fewest number for more than 100 years. So Jim Ratcliffe, when he came in, said he wanted to take Manchester United back to where they belong. He's taking the club backwards at the moment.
Tell me, mate, how Michael Carrick as an interim is a better option than Darren Fletcher as an interim. Because if we've established the fact that he's an interim, what if he does go on a good run and all of a sudden gets Champions League football? Does that not give them another problem?
Well, I think that's a key part of it, actually, Ollie, because because when we were reporting last week that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the favourite, his camp were making it known that actually if he did well in this interim spell, he had his sights set on the permanent job, and I think that made a few in the boardroom uneasy because they do see this very much as an interim appointment until the end of the season when they hope that one of those big name managers who are available, Thomas Tuchel, Mauricio Pochettino, Oliver Glasner, Carlo Ancelotti even, would be tempted to take the job. So I think Carrick will know the remit. It is very much an appointment until the end of the season. I get what you're saying because that's exactly what happened with Ollie. Yeah. He came in as interim, did really well. Club legends like Rio Ferdinand and Gary Neville were clamouring for 10-year contracts and asking where he wanted his start to. But I think Michael Carrick is aware of the situation. In terms of Darren Fletcher, I feel a little bit for him, but ultimately he's drawn away at Burnley and he's got United knocked out the FA Cup. So I don't really see how he can put forward a case to be given a job on a longer-term basis.
A couple of players looking maybe to come back to this country, Crookie. Tammy Abraham and Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, Tammy Abraham is someone who's always been on Aston Villa's radar. I think when they looked at it before, he was on huge wages at Roma, so that could be a potential stumbling block. But I think definitely they want to bring in competition for Ollie Watkins, obviously in a brilliant position to qualify for the Champions League, and with a little bit of extra firepower, I think they should cement themselves in the top four. Conor Gallagher, we broke this exclusively on Friday. He's another name very high on Aston Villa's wanted list. Again, Unai Emery tried to sign him from Chelsea before he went to Atletico Madrid. He's not unhappy over in Spain, Conor Gallagher, but obviously he's been left out of recent England squads. He has a desire to be on the plane for the World Cup, and I think he feels maybe it's a bit out of sight, out of mind at the moment, that the best chance of impressing Thomas Tuchel, his former Chelsea manager, is by coming back to the Premier League. There has been some talk that Tottenham are keen as well. Again, they've had a long-standing interest, and you look at Spurs, one of their massive issues is the midfield, isn't it? So I think Conor would certainly come in and improve them.
Quick word on Josh Sargent. Crook, he asked not to be involved in the Norwich game against Walsall at the weekend.
Yeah, he did. And to be fair, Philippe Clement didn't sugarcoat it. He said he wasn't injured. He just asked to be left out. And we now know there's an offer on the table from Toronto. I think, again, as we're going to see a lot in this transfer window, the World Cup is a massive part of Josh Sargent's motivation. He wants to be leading the line for the USA, even though he's not scored many goals for his country. And I think he feels like by going to play for Toronto, maybe he's got more chance of impressing Pochettino. But it's a tough one for Norwich because the sporting director, Ben Napper, has gone on record and said he won't be sold in this window. Well, I think that resolve is going to be tested now in the last couple of weeks. And of course, they need all the points they can get, not because they're challenging for promotion, as maybe they would have hoped, but because at the moment they're still very much part of the relegation dogfight in the second tier.
Crookie, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Crookie.
Cheers, guys.
All the best, mate.
And that was a transfer roundup with Intuit QuickBooks. Coming up, we'll take another look at the Manchester United interim manager situation. Dwight York will join us next.
Transfer window. Breaking news on talkSPORT with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment with Intuit QuickBooks. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez, Just hearing these names makes you think money and the hundreds of millions of dollars, pounds or Saudi riyals in boxing. But that's at the top. At the bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world. And if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, you know, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against the real prospects, a young Anthony Joshua, for example, these guys will be lucky to earn more than 10 grand. So the average boxer isn't as rich as you'd think.
Good morning, 9:05, final hour of the breakfast show on Monday, January the 12th, with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and Arnold Clark's Real Sale. Huge savings to be had on over 20,000 used cars. So this season, Manchester United will play their fewest games in a season in over 100 years. They've just got 17 games left after being dumped out of both cups at the first attempt. So attention now turns to who will replace the interim manager. Who will be the next interim manager, in other words. The chances are it won't be Darren Fletcher. He was asked about his future after yesterday's defeat.
I think, well, obviously we're at the Cups. I still think this squad's good enough to qualify as in the Champions League places. There's still a lot of the season left to play in the Premier League, but they have to come together, and the players are going to have to take responsibility. And I know they care, and I know there's a lot of good lads in there, but for the rest of this season, they can't waste this season for me. So short term, they are good enough to qualify in a Champions League place, but they're going to have to come together and do it themselves.
You say about not wasting the season. Do you know what the future is for you, the immediate future, the Manchester derby next week? Will you be in charge?
I don't know. I think my objective was to take these 2 games. I've done that. I've not had the time to think. leading a Manchester United team's a massive responsibility, and all my focus and energy has gone into that. I'll review this game, dissect this game, and then I'm sure people will speak to me in the coming days.
Would you want to take the team till the end of the season?
I genuinely haven't thought about it. I've got a role in the club. I genuinely haven't thought about it. I've not had time, and let's see what happens in the coming days.
Lucas texted, says, morning guys, why is no one mentioning Zinedine Zidane for the Man United job? Managed the only club that's as big as Manchester United.
Well, that's what I've said for a long time.
Trophies.
That's what I've said for a long time, but seemingly, he ruled himself out years ago, saying he doesn't fancy managing a coach in England, he doesn't speak a language. Whether that's the case or not, but it would seem an obvious one to me.
It would, mind you. You do want somebody who fancies the job.
Oh,
that's
quite important.
Reluctantly.
Yeah, that's quite important.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Look, let's get some thoughts on what's been going on at Manchester United by a former legend of theirs, the 1999 treble winner, Dwight York. Morning, Dwight.
Morning, York. How you doing?
Yeah, good, boys. Not too bad.
Good. What do you make of what's going on then now? An interim manager to be replaced by another interim manager.
Yeah, it's hard to watch, even as far as I am being in Dubai here and constantly staring down the television, watching the games and watching what's unfolding at the football club. I have to say it must be such a difficult time, not just for me as a player, ex-player, but certainly for all the Man United fans. It seems like in a bit of a turmoil at the minute. So, yeah, very, very hard to watch.
I mean, I was there last night, Yorkie, and the place just looks in turmoil. But speaking to a few of the guys and people who were at the game last night, I detected a kind of apathy from the United fans. Yorkie, I mean, don't get me wrong, once they go and got themselves back in the game at 2-1, they lifted themselves and tried to get the team going. But it's as if there's a kind of acceptance of what's happening now around them.
Yeah, well, as I said, it's very hard to watch the fact that these teams, let alone Brighton, are turning up at United and felt that they can turn them over. It's been that sort of feeling around the club for a number of years now, where it's never used to be. And that's the reality of it. Whether you like it or not, whether you're an ex-player or a fan, that's just how teams really portray the football club at the minute. There is a lack of respect there when it comes to the club in terms of the history behind the football club for many years, where it used to be a fair place, probably the most fair place to go and get a result. Now they're walking in like if it's nobody business anymore and taking us on in our own backyard and really putting us through thick and thin. And it's not very pleasing. So there are people in there that has to be held accountable for what is happening at the football club. And the players are part of that, as much as you like it or not. And that's simple as it is.
Do you think they're approaching this, the ownership's approaching this in the wrong way, Dwight, in the sense that, Manchester United, I think we all accept, the biggest club in the world, certainly one of the biggest clubs in the world, no question about that. Should they not be going for a permanent manager right now?
Well, yeah, I think that the thing is, Jeff, as you mentioned, they should be going for a permanent manager, but the manager that they should be going for, in my opinion, is in a job. And so that probably will take some time. But
who is that, Dwight? Who should they be going for?
I've said this maybe well over 15 months before the previous manager got the job. I think Unai Emery is the best manager in the league by a far distance. And I said it out loud again when they asked when Amrin was given the job. Unai Emery was my choice. And he proves yet again, that he is far the best candidate for the job. Whether you can get him now, 15 months ago, I think we could have gotten him. Whether you can get him now, that might be a different challenge.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate, let's just discuss that, because the place, Villa Park, would be in uproar if they got him, because another brilliant result of the weekend. You can talk about Spurs and their decline, or whatever you want to call it, but Villa, after the start they had, where I don't think they'd scored a goal for 5 games, their turnaround, Yorkie, has been nothing short of remarkable. I think the next 3 home games they're at home to Everton. I think they're travelling to Newcastle. They've given themselves a serious chance of Champions League football. Obviously get turned over at Arsenal, but that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, Villa has always been a fantastic sort of club for for United over the years. You look at the players who have left that club and go there, and certainly, taking a manager is nothing new. That's just how it is. He is the best manager. Of course, he'll be in an uproar. He was an uproar when I left the football club as well. So it's nothing new. The big clubs come for the best players and managers. It's simple as that. And Unai Emery is in that category. United need an elite manager for a number of years. And they haven't been able to get hold of an elite manager. Yes, the Jose Mourinho, the Van Gaal, they have all come in there and they're part of the elite group. But outside of that, there's not too many more. And when you look at an elite manager, a manager with credibility, experience, played attractive football, very passionate, brings that, get the players buy into his ideas, all the things as a manager and a club look for. And then you got all this, names that are bantering around the place. There's only one. I mean, Zidane comes into that because of obviously his track record and what he brings. But outside of that, there's not too many more. And I don't think there is the names that they're mentioning is just what United. And they'll find themselves maybe in 15 months' time again looking for a new manager if they don't get it right again.
How long do you think it's going to be, Dwight, before Manchester United manage to haul themselves out of this mess and become contenders at the top of the Premier League again?
I don't think it's that as difficult as people are making it out. I don't think the league, even this year, is as good as it is. The transition between the Liverpool, the likes of, City, these teams are going through transitional period as well, and they're struggling. They're not playing as attractive, and they're not as demanding as taking these games and taking control of the Premier League. There's a gap there that can be closed very quickly. But if you don't get it right, how you can, close that gap? Instead of it's just going away from us because there are so many questions and very little answers within our club.
Arsenal winning the title, Yorkie?
Listen, Ali, we all been there. We all had this conversation before. I don't think that I've got to say, you got to ask me that question end of March. I will say, and then I can give you a really good answer. But it's certainly, if you're an Arsenal fan, you on the knife edges near, really. You're sitting there thinking, if only. But they won't have a better opportunity because of the quality that behind them is not quite. But you got the experience of Pep and I think that's and Villa in terrific form. And they just need to believe a little bit more, Villa, I think. They're still not convinced that they could. If they could be convinced, I think Villa could really be the one could upset the whole thing here. But City, you can't rule them out. But, we've seen Arsenal in that position before. We'll have to wait and see later on as the season unfolds, as we say.
Dwight, thanks very much for joining us.
All the best, yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Vince and plenty of others have said surely Roy Keane's the obvious choice there. And Rob Round, I have to tell you this, can't believe you're still talking about Man United. There was a fantastic result in the FA Cup for Macclesfield, and they've hardly been mentioned. Yet, Rob, apart from talking to their captain, less than an hour ago now, they haven't mentioned it at all. Still to come, we'll look ahead to Liverpool against Barnsley live on talkSPORT and ask Ali whether Thomas Frank needs backing in the transfer window to help him this season. Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Ally McCoist. I knew this would happen after Yorkie had been on there. Jack says Yorkie needs to give his head a wobble. No Villa fan is worried about Emery leaving the club as it's been moulded in his own image. Not one other bigger club would give him the autonomy he has with us. Miles off it, in Gabby's words. Now, time to welcome a true great of British sport to the show.
This is something that many people didn't think could possibly happen today. They thought Damon would drive a cautious race, but he fought. He fought from second on the grid. He passed Jacques Villeneuve. He took the lead. He stayed there. And Damon Hill exits the chicane and wins the Japanese Grand Prix. And I've got to stop because I've got a lump in my throat.
Brilliant. Brilliant, yeah. The legendary Murray Walker, of course, in his spine-tingling commentary of Damon Hill's 1996 F1 World Championship victory. Now, Damon's off on tour this year. In fact, I think tomorrow it starts to mark 30 years since he sensationally fought off the likes of Michael Schumacher and emulate his late dad, Graham. Now, I'm pleased to say that Damon joins us now. Morning, Damon.
Good morning, Damon.
Good morning, guys.
So, look, we'll talk about the tour in a moment, but I tell you what, I was looking at, I could not believe, Damon, testing for next season starts next week, and the first Grand Prix is less than 2 months away. It's amazing.
The 8th of March in Australia. I know it flies by. Just as you get over Christmas, suddenly you hit the ground running. And of course, they've been pedaling like mad in the factories over the break. You know, this is the busiest time of the year for a Formula One team, and they've got new regulations, so they've got their work cut out to get ready.
Couple of new teams as well, Damon. Audi coming in, Cadillac.
Yes.
What's your views? What's your opinions on that?
Okay, so it's very exciting. We're a completely new team with Cadillac. Audi sort of inserted themselves into what was Sauber.
That's right.
And so they've been gradually taking that over at that operation. So that operation is pretty much up and running, but it's going to be very much embellished by the Audi, the influence of them, a big manufacturer coming in. So long awaited to see Audi in. And they've already run their car in Barcelona for a couple of laps. It sounded really nice, actually. We weren't allowed to get close, so I only went off of some spies who were around the track with their mobile phones. But Cadillac, very exciting a completely new team, and of course an American manufacturer.
So how tough is Lando Norris going to find it to defend that title, do you think, Damon?
Well, all bets are off for this year. We have no idea who is going to have the form. We can't assume that people who found their feet with the last regulations, which were sort of Venturi ground effect cars, will be able to follow through. I mean, some of it will follow through. The power units are completely different. They've got to share 50% of their power from electric battery power, so storage on the car. So the way the cars will be driven, the way they're designed, the way they work aerodynamically is completely different.
You say it's completely different, Damon. Let me ask you a difficult question. What would you say are the biggest changes that you've seen in 30 years? I mean, some sports, for example, are nearly unrecognisable. What are the biggest changes in F1?
It's the computer. It's simply the effect of being able to analyse data and to be able to accrue information, which we just didn't have access to in the past. You know, we had a stopwatch. And you literally, as a driver, you wouldn't even get the lap time you just did. You had to wait till the next lap to see a bloke put a sign out from the pit wall and tell you what the lap time was for the previous lap. So, you know, a lot has changed there, and it's enabled drivers now to use information they get from the team. So the team is analysing the car in real time and passing that back to the driver. So they're getting fed information. I don't know if you've seen the steering wheels they use. I mean, they've got so many knobs and buttons. I mean, us old folk, we struggle to keep up. But maybe I shouldn't be including you with my problems.
Oh, you definitely include both of us, Damon. No question about that. So seriously, when you say all bets are off and the big technical changes, could we theoretically see a complete changing of the guard?
Yes, you could. I mean, we could see a complete surprise. Something like when Jenson Button won with Brawn, they surprised everyone because they saw through the regulations. And the master of seeing through the regulations is Adrian Newey, who's gone to Aston Martin. He left Red Bull and Max Verstappen behind, and Christian Horner has left that team anyway. But he's gone off to Aston Martin. He's been working on this project now for a good 18 months or so. So we're sort of expecting him to wave his magic wand over Aston Martin. It could happen.
Damon, tell me, this is really exciting, obviously, in conversation with Tom Clarkson. What can we expect to see from your tour?
Okay, well, pretty much what you put up at the start of the show is basically my story. There's going to be lots of interesting stuff that you perhaps haven't seen before, people haven't seen before, and we're going to be talking like we are now about the sport as well. So a lot of history, my history getting through. People still want to know about me and Michael Schumacher and what happened in Adelaide and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we're going to keep it up to date and talk about the sport that we love, which is full of controversy as well. So we have, of course, Abu Dhabi in 21 that happened, and it never stops, does it?
Well, there's a million questions everybody wants to ask you, and if you don't mind, I'm going to take this opportunity and ask you one myself. I know this is the last, I think it's the last year of Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. It's a track that I actually know, but it's been replaced by another one which I know is the one in Portimao, the Portuguese Grand Prix, coming back, I think 27, 28. What would your favourite track be?
Do you know something? I had a bit of a strange love affair with Hockenheim. It got cancelled. They took away the long straights, but I used to love that track. You'd come out of the stadium, so it was like being in a football match. You come into the stadium, hundreds of thousands of people, and you do your little twiddle in front of the pits and everything, and off you go up towards the chicanes through the woods, and there'd be no one watching up there. They didn't allow people to watch. There's just marshals, and you'd be doing 220 miles an hour, and then you have to haul on the brakes for the chicanes, and there was 3 of these straights.
Oh, have we lost you?
Looks like your Wi-Fi just gone down.
Oh, just frozen just at the key moment.
He probably knew I had another question for him, that's why. I bet that'd be a good night, that.
Yeah, I think
it'd be a very good night, that.
You know, I was looking at it. They start tomorrow in Cambridge. Now, a number of the venues are sold out. I don't think Cambridge is quite, but a number of the venues are sold out. But getting quick, if you want a ticket, I think is the
How far's Cambridge from here?
Well, if you drive like Damon Hill, not too far. You know.
Well, there's punters listening to that thinking that set you up there, by the way, but that was different class.
Yeah, no. So he's got a number of places anyway. Some of them are not quite sold out just yet, but as I say, getting quick, because needing Damon Hill, the tickets are going really
have a good night
quickly. And it gives me a good opportunity to plug the fact that I'm back on the road, another theatre
again
this week, with the fragrant Bianca Westwood. So we are in Exmouth on Wednesday night. Swindon on Saturday night, and then next week we're at Burnley on Wednesday, Fleetwood on Thursday, and Bromley on Friday.
So tell me this particular tour, is it, in terms of your geography, is it not so bad? I mean, you're not going...
Oh yeah, it's not too shabby.
Better.
It's not too shabby at all. Fleetwood Thursday night, Bromley Friday. Absolute perfect. You know? It was a Scotsman who put together the tour. I don't think he's ever been to England before. I've got to be honest. Fleetwood to Bromley.
I'm sure it'll go well,
on
mate.
a Friday night.
I'm sure it'll go well.
Anyway, well, fingers crossed. Come along and see us if you possibly can.
Absolutely.
Sorry, we lost the 1996 F1 World Champion Damon Hill there, but you got the message from him. A really unpredictable, and that'll be great, by the way, an unpredictable F1 season.
Yeah.
Coming up with so many technical changes. He says all bets are off.
Interesting.
Now then, coming up next, we are joined in the studio by a man who did this to the Soccer Saturday studio 18 years ago.
Brian Howard's got himself in a good position. He's shot. He's scored!
every good signing a club makes, there's bound to be a few that don't work out. Manchester United have certainly had their fair share of those, especially since the end of their golden age under Sir Alex Ferguson. Here are some of the Red Devils' worst signings since Fergie. First up, Alexis Sanchez. He'd averaged almost a goal every 2 games for Arsenal, but in his 45 matches for United, he only bagged 5. Next up, Radamel Falcao, dubbed El Tigre, or the Tiger. But at Old Trafford, he was a little more pussycat, to be honest. All the Colombian managed in 29 games was 4 goals. Moving on, things couldn't have gone worse for Jadon Sancho at United, with just 12 goals in 83 games. And it all ended after that very public spat with then-manager Erik ten Hag. Next, Ten Hag probably thought he was wise in sticking to what he knew when he brought in Antony from former club Ajax. But the £86 million Brazilian has really not been able to hack it in the Prem. The curse of the famous number 7 shirt has also had its share of victims. As well as the aforementioned Sanchez, Memphis Depay found he couldn't follow in the footsteps of Ronaldo, Cantona, Beckham and Best. He netted just 7 in 53 appearances. And those are just a few examples. To be honest, the list could go on and on. Unfortunately, that's probably why Man United haven't won the title for over a decade, and why it might take a few more years before they're in contention again.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Save on your next car in the real sale. It's the UK's biggest used car sale, 9:34. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. And now, 1998 World Cup winner Emmanuel Petit was alongside Sam Matterface and Gabriel Bonlahor on Friday. And he produced a viral moment with some colourful language when Gabby quizzed him on what his former boss at Arsenal would say if a physio tried to tell him to sub a player, after the reports that this was part of the issue for Maresca at Chelsea.
Imagine a physio saying to Arsene Wenger, "Oh no, you have to take that player off after 50 off. They're injured."
I don't know if we've done that or not.
Sorry, guys.
We shouldn't have dumped it. It's good.
I'm so sorry. I apologise for.
I really hope we didn't dump it.
I apologise. No. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Sir Alex Ferguson? You know, the guy's coming. Mr. Ferguson, yeah, can I talk to you for a minute, please? Yeah, you shouldn't play that guy. You know. Oh, the pizza, you're going to receive it, you know, into the...
Right. On that bombshell, I think we'll take a break and we'll come back in the next few minutes. If you did hear any industrial language, we apologise for you, but it was perfectly delivered by Emmanuel Petit. This is talkSPORT. I heard that it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh,
and by the way, he is spot on as well.
Do you know something? He's excellent. He's absolutely excellent. I've been lucky enough when I've done a couple of games, did a couple of shows over in Paris before PSG games. I think it might be the Arsenal game or the Man City game. He came in for a couple of hours and sat down for a couple of hours over in Paris at his shows. Top class.
Yeah.
Really good. Engaging, knowledgeable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe it when I read a piece saying that basically one of Maresca's issues was that he had to have meetings with the medical team every other day, and they would tell him which players could play for how long.
Madness.
I mean, each individual.
That is absolutely. Somebody will need to explain to me, right? And I know time stands still for no man, and looking at people's recovery. I get all that, right? But do you know the best judge of players and whether they're ready to train? See them there? See a coach's eyes, right? They tell you more than anything. You can see players. You need a you don't need what? They'll tell me you do need it, right? Of course they'll tell me you do need it. And you probably do to a certain degree. But dear me.
I mean,
imagine trying to say to just Roy Keane, for example. Roy, we've had a look at your results here, and we're going to leave you out today because your count, whatever it is, your recovery's not. I mean, it's just not happening, is it?
We saw when he had to substitute, or whether he did substitute Cole Palmer twice in games, and was roundly booed by, the Chelsea faithful. And you saw the looks that Cole Palmer was giving him. But in retrospect, that may not have been his choice.
I get it if somebody's coming back from injury, right? And you've got to watch them and you look after them. I get that.
To a degree.
Yeah, to a degree, right? And you've got to protect, right? I get all that. But come on, mate, do me a favour. The boys want to play. Let them play.
Couldn't agree more. Now, it's been a magical weekend already in the FA Cup, but could there still be one more surprise to come? Barnsley will be hoping to emulate what happened back in 2008 when this man sent the Soccer Saturday studio wild, apart from Phil Thompson, of course.
Brian Howard's got himself in a good position. He's shot. He's And that's justice, by the way, because he should have had a penalty just now, Jeff. The referee bowled it in front of the cop, but he's got possession again, 25 yards out. Great left foot. I told you he had a great left foot before the show. And he struck it with his left foot. Chelsea Tunch, he's been beaten at his near post. What a finish to this game. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Brian Howard scoring that injury time winner for Barnsley in the FA Cup at Anfield 18 years ago. And, of course, they go there again in a game which is live on talkSPORT tonight. Who better to build up to it than Brian himself? Morning, Brian.
Good morning, Brian.
Morning, chaps. How are we?
Right, come on then, mate. Let's get the first question out of the road. How many times you watched it since the draw's been made? I've even watched it myself a couple of times, mate, coming back onto that left foot. A memory. What a memory.
Yeah, quite a few times. I think since the draw was made, I actually missed the draw. I was busy doing something, and then picked my phone up, and then I think since then the phone's just been absolutely crazy, but it's great to relive that. And someone told me it was 17 years ago, and you just made me feel even older there, Jeff.
Oh, wow. Oh, look, it was. Well, I mean, I remember it as if it was yesterday. To be honest, it was one of the great Soccer Saturday moments, as well as one of the great FA Cup moments. I remember the story as well, because I think Luke Steele was in goal, wasn't he? And he'd come in like a day or two before the game.
Signed emergency loan the day before, and he was in a room with me in Liverpool then before, and I was chatting to him, and he got his laptop out. And I don't know if people were watching films or bits of laptop, but he was on the website looking at players, trying to remember their names. And even on the pre-match walk, he was just saying, "Brian, what's his name? What's his name?" And for me, it's probably the best ever debut from anyone in a keeper in the FA Cup for sure. And then he went on to become an absolute club legend for Barnsley.
Brian, tell me, mate. I mean, there's been a varying degree of results as you normally get with the FA Cup. You can look at Manchester City, Exeter, obviously Wolves scoring 6. There's teams that have done exceptionally well. However, I'm guessing if you're Barnsley, you're looking more at the kind of Macclesfield and perhaps Mansfield results more than anything. I mean, we all know it's a massive, massive ask, but you have to have some belief, don't you?
Yeah, you have to. And I was lucky to spend a day in at the training ground the other day with Connor, the manager, and the whole squad, and even some of my teammates that day who are now working within the club. And I think you've got to go and believe in yourself. It's an opportunity under the lights at Anfield, the whole world watching. Go and prove yourself. Go and test yourself against some of the best players and the current reigning champions of the country.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a bit of a struggle in the league at the moment, but if you look, they've got players who can make an. Obviously, David McGoldrick's been round the block a couple of times, hasn't he? And a favourite of mine, and I mention him all the time as well, and I'm not embarrassed to do so, is Reyes Cleary, who I think has done fantastically well so far this season at Barnsley.
He's had a great season, and they've got a few more in there. Adam Phillips, Kilo Dunn. They've got players who can score goals, dangerous players. And again, a lot of young players. I think Barnsley's model has always been produce these young players, and then for the future of the club, they move on. So again, there'll be players going into that thinking, right, this actually could be a shot window for me as well. But if they can get a result, like you said, the form's just dipped a bit in the league. They've got a lot of games in hand now. a top performance or a result tonight, you then take that back into the league and you look to move on back into the playoffs.
I'm laughing there, Brian. I'm looking at it. The good thing from the Barnsley point of view is the lads will be able to know who they're playing in the next round if they get through, because the draw happens before the game, mate.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen the draws just before, so I don't know how that will go. I think they'll just be focused on a big 90-plus minutes at Anfield and go and enjoy the occasion and go and prove yourself. And I think looking back for myself, and I spoke to a few of the boys in the training ground, it's, we're now speaking 18 years later, go and have that moment and edge yourself into the history of the football club.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brian Coistie's on his way up there. He's co-commentating this evening. So if you're going into added time, at one apiece, he'll be looking for a Brian Howard-esque winner, that's for sure.
Without doubt.
I'll be up there tonight as well, so hopefully see you. But I did join in a bit of training the other day, and after that performance, I don't think the manager will want me anywhere near the pitch.
Hey, brilliant. Brian.
Hopefully see you up there, mate, and the best of luck.
Have a great night, mate.
Yeah, great to speak to you guys. Cheers.
Take care.
Fantastic.
Some strike as well, wasn't it?
Oh, some story. Because Liverpool were ahead in the game, weren't they?
Dirk Kuyt scored. Was it Dirk Kuyt scored? I'm sure he did. He put them 1-0 up.
Because they had a good side out as well. You look, Carragher, Sammy Huppier was out, Stephen Gerrard.
And then there was a head.
On.
I'm trying to think.
Crouchy was there. Harry Kewell.
Crouchy had a couple of chances, yeah.
Rafa Benitez team. So, I mean, this was a massive upset at the time. Brilliant,
Tremendous. It's a big ask tonight. Because you just feel Liverpool, I mean, the pressure on them, they've got to win, haven't they? I mean, it would be unthinkable, wouldn't it, really?
Yeah, I think so. And I do, you've got to fancy Liverpool. Look, Barnsley are 12-1, but when you're up there, just see it, he will start. Reyes Cleary was on loan at Hartlepool last season from West Bromwich Albion. We knew he was destined for bigger things. He's gone to Barnsley this season. He's 21, 5 goals, 9 assists so far this campaign, and Blackburn Rovers have been in for him, offering apparently £1 million, but Barnsley's asking price is much, much higher than that. So I'll be interested to see how he does on the big stage.
Yeah, look forward to seeing him.
But he's got the right attitude. He's got a brilliant attitude.
How long was it your place for?
Half a season, second half of last season.
But you can sign off, eh?
Oh, different class.
Yeah.
Completely different class. It is 9:45. Coming up, we'll ask Ali if this weekend proved once and for all, and I would agree with this, football is better without VAR.
Yes!
Good morning. It's 9:49, Monday, January the 12th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast Time. Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with us, and it's
flown in this morning, mate.
It has flown. We've got less than 10 minutes to go, so let's finish with a bit of this.
Ask me. Back to McCoist. The goal's been coming, but it's supplied once again by Ally McCoist.
Chop, 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 chop. I just used to chop it back over the net.
Hi there, it's Sean Dyche here. You're listening to the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast Show.
Can't it be a bit AC/DC, man? But the football ground, it's pardon me.
I'm saying a mongoose.
Yeah, but it's something
it's
like
a
that.
mongoose-like creature. It might be the mongoose, in fact.
Yeah.
Marvellous! You've got no idea. I used to be quite well respected in footballing circles.
So ask me.
Yeah, that time of the show we put a selection of this morning's biggest talking points to the man alongside me. So, Coisty, let's get started.
Here we go.
Topic 1. Legendary Man United assistant Mike Phelan was on co-commentary duty on talkSPORT yesterday as United crashed out of the FA Cup against Brighton. Now, Phelan pre-match bit back at our very own Gabby Agbonlahor, who'd suggested that going back to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would make the club a laughingstock.
I don't agree with that. I mean, I can't get my head around that. I mean, I think that's a very easy throwaway comment to make in the present modern-day football, is just to find a fault with something straight away, rather than look at it in the perspective that it really needs to be looked at. And Ole proved himself. He proved himself when he first came in here, and he grabbed the bull by the horns. He changed a lot of things. He changed mentality, the supporters' mentality, to what they'd seen before. That can happen again.
Well, when he came in, he won 14 out of 19, and he then won 2 of his next 10, and they finished 6th in the league. I don't know, I wouldn't say it would be a laughingstock. Would it be a backward step?
Yeah. I think it's a backward step. I'm with you. I don't think it's a laughingstock. I mean, they're just about at the stage where it looks as though they're willing to try anything, to tell you the truth. They're replacing an interim manager, another interim manager. They've got rid of a manager clearly without an immediate replacement, right? So they look all over the place. I walked out the stadium last night, Jeff, with a couple of lovely young lads, and they just said to me, Ali, and one of them said, his question was, Ali said, what about the state of us right now? That's what he said, you know? And it was more a statement than a question. And they'd obviously big United fans, and he was telling me season ticket holder had been there for years and years. And that's where they are at the moment in time. The fans are saying, what about the state we're in at this moment in time? So I don't necessarily think it would make them a laughing stock. They're not getting any sympathy, and nor should they get any sympathy from other football supporters, Jeff. We know how football works. They shouldn't be getting any sympathy at all, particularly the success they've had in years gone by. So they're not getting any sympathy, and that's fine. I wouldn't say they're a laughing stock. They're seriously a club that looks, if not in turmoil, they've been all over the place in recent years. And I think, as much as I like Ole, and as much as Ole is, he is a club legend there. You think about it, we were just discussing the term legend gets thrown about far too easily. But if you're scoring the winner in the Champions League final in one of the most incredible finals we've ever seen, I think that gives you legendary status. So all that taken into side, I'm still saying I think it's a backward step.
Do you think that when the club decided to sack Ruben Amorim, some of the club's hierarchy sat down and said, well, just before we sack him, what's the plan?
What can you do?
Shall we put Darren Fletcher in charge for a couple of games, and then we'll bring in another interim manager while we look for somebody on a full-time basis?
What's the logic there?
Surely they could.
What is the logic there? Or Jeff, has something happened that's made his position untenable? Has there been a disagreement with somebody? Has there been a fallout? Has something happened? Because that seems more logical to me than what's happened. Has he said something, or has he done something where the owners have went, well, that's it, no way back there, bang, he's got to go? Because that is a more logical...
Which suggests that it's been done in, if you like, a fit of pique.
Yeah. Because if you're going to sit there, and obviously we're not there, we're not privy to any meetings and things like that, but you do not do at any club, never mind Manchester United, that unless you have contingency plans that when I say plans, I mean plans that you're willing to go ahead with, whether it's a new manager immediately. You don't bring in an interim and then bring in another interim. I mean, it's just kind of carnage, isn't it? It's chaos.
I think we'll be talking about it again tomorrow, don't you?
I don't think there's any doubt.
Right, Ali gave Danny Welbeck man of the match. Brilliant performance once again yesterday. You asked Darren Fletcher this in commentary. Does he go to the World Cup with England?
Must come in to the reckoning, right? I like Ollie Watkins, I've got to say. I do. I'm a fan of Ollie Watkins.
And he's hit a rich vein of form.
Absolutely. And he's done it before. Scored a wonderful, wonderful finish. Was it against the Netherlands in that game. So, you know he can do it. But I look at Welbeck. No problem. Anything but. Brilliant lad. He'll go there. I wouldn't have thought with any expectation of being other than a stand-in or a substitute if something goes wrong. You know, he knows what his job would be. He would be a fantastic tourist, and by that I mean I use the word tourist because that's what we used to call him. You know, he's not going to be a problem at all. He's going to be great around the camp. All these things I think are massive. And by the way, the most important thing is he gets a chance to score. That never mind anything else. That's the most important thing. So he must come into the reckoning, right? Because there's a few have dripped out. Whether you're talking about Tammy Abraham, Callum Wilson, these guys have felt the wayside, if you like, in terms of international call-ups and recognition. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty with 2 or 3, and I think it'll all depend how Welbeck and indeed Ollie Watkins finish the season.
And what a reward it would be as well for Danny
A great
Welbeck,
story, wouldn't it?
Who has overcome all sorts in his career. His attitude has always been spot on right throughout the years, even the difficult years. And he's right at the top of the tree now, where he belongs to be.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
This one's pretty simple. VAR doesn't enter the FA Cup until the 5th round stage. The question is, isn't it better without VAR? How much better have the games been? And Andy has texted and said, so refreshing to watch football without VAR. Goal line technology, yes. If a ref gets a decision wrong, well, move on. It'll work out over the season.
Fletch and I spoke about it. You and I were talking about it there. 100% goal line technology. Yes. Everything else, nah, not for me. Let the game flow. That's the one thing that we've really, really enjoyed. Right. Well, I've certainly enjoyed, in the FA Cup games over the weekend. And by the way, incidentally, just it's my opinion, I don't know whether you agree or not, how can you bring another tool, if you like, into a competition? You either start with it and you get through the whole tournament with it, or you don't have it at all. Right? Simple, in my opinion. Because you can't move the goalpost throughout the tournament, and that's what they're doing. They're bringing VAR in for later stages of the tournament. They're moving the goalpost for the tournament. Right, so that's that. Get that off my chest.
And what happens, by the way, if Macclesfield get to the 5th round in a home tie?
Correct.
How will VAR operate at Moss Rose?
Well, it might not.
But they say it will.
Right. So, So I'm a firm believer. You start the tournament has to be the same all the way throughout. That's that. But, Jeff, come on. I mean, how much have you enjoyed it?
I'm
a Friday night, I'm watching that, and there was a wee delay with a handball, Douglas Lees, and that was interesting. We've not even spoken about that, because I think it's a handball all day. Then it goes to Maka at half-time, and he didn't think it was a handball. He didn't think it was he thought the goal should have stood. And I'm saying to myself, it's definitely hit his arm below the shoulder. Anyway, that aside, we're talking about the decision. There was a small delay for that. I think they get the decision correct, disallowed the goal. But I just felt it was refreshing for the game to flow. And for the fans' point of view, there's no stops, starts. The game's flowing, the excitement's continual. Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer for me, but it won't happen.
So Andy says, no VAR in football. Did you see the penalty Everton got awarded at the weekend against Sunderland? If VAR was available, there's no way that penalty gets awarded. Shocking decision. And Andy, and you know what the outcome of that game was? Yep. Everton lost at home to Sunderland. So, it would have had no impact at all, So I just think the game, so goal line technology, absolutely.
Yes, without doubt.
But VAR, we've seen at the weekend, we can live without it.
You better believe we can.
Brilliant.
I'm not sure we will, though, but we can.
Yeah. Right, I'm off to listen to Foreigner's Greatest Hits. Jukebox Hero in particular, I can't wait to hear it.
Head Games. You need to listen to Head Games. You and me, baby.
What about Urgent?
Oh, what a